Hey guys, tonight we begin with something that will make your worst Monday morning feel like a vacation. We are diving deep into the reality of life inside a World War I prisoner of war camp. Forget everything you think you know about prisoner camps from movies or history books. The truth is so much worse. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from and what time it is for you. It is always fascinating to see who is joining us from around the world at 3 in the morning or during their lunch break. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. Get under those blankets, and let us ease into tonight's journey together. Congratulations! You have just been captured on the Western Front. Maybe you surrendered during a failed assault. Maybe you were found wounded in a shell crater. Maybe you simply got separated from your unit and walked into enemy lines by accident. The how does not really matter anymore. What matters is this. You are now property of the German Empire. Your war is over, but your suffering has only just begun. Welcome to the next 3 years of your life. Welcome to a place where 500 men die from typhus in a single month. Where you will eat food that pigs would refuse. Where winter will try to kill you just as surely as any bullet. This is not a temporary holding facility. This is not some checkpoint before you go home. This is Dobritz or Soltau or Wittenberg, or any one of hundreds of camps scattered across Germany and Austria-Hungary. And you are about to learn what it truly means to be forgotten by the world. Chapter 1. The Capture and Transport. You are lying in mud. Your ears are still ringing from the artillery barrage that has just torn through your position. Around you, men are screaming. Some are calling for medics. Others are calling for their mothers. You touch your side and your hand comes away red. Not a lot of blood, but enough. Enough to know you are not getting out of this trench under your own power. Then you hear it. Voices in German. Shouting. Boots squelching through the mud toward you. Your rifle is somewhere. You cannot remember where. Your hands are shaking too badly to hold it anyway. A shadow falls across you. A German soldier, young, maybe younger than you, is pointing a rifle at your chest. You raise your hands. Or you try to. One arm does not want to work properly. The German soldier is yelling something. You do not speak German. You just keep your hands up and hope he understands what surrender looks like. He does. He pulls you to your feet. Rough. Not gentle, but not cruel either. Just efficient. You are one of maybe 20 or 30 men from your unit who are still alive and mobile enough to walk. The Germans line you up. They take everything. Your helmet. Your gas mask. Your rifle, obviously. Your pack. Your water bottle. Your personal items. One soldier finds a photo of your girl back home in your breast pocket. He looks at it for a moment, then hands it back to you. Small mercy. You will lose that photo later anyway. They march you east, away from the front lines. The sound of artillery fades behind you, replaced by the sound of your own breathing and the shuffle of defeated men walking toward an unknown future. You walk for hours. No one tells you where you are going. No one tells you anything. Some men collapse. The Germans leave them where they fall. You learn very quickly that falling behind means being abandoned. You keep walking even though every step sends pain shooting through your injured side. Eventually you reach a railway station. This is not a normal station. This is a military depot, all activity and chaos. They herd you into cattle cars. Not passenger cars. Cattle cars. Wooden boxcars designed for transporting livestock, not people. They pack 80 men into a space meant for 40 cows. There is no room to sit. You stand. You stand pressed against other bodies, all of you smelling of blood and mud and fear. The doors slide shut. Darkness. Complete darkness except for thin cracks of light between the wooden slats. The train moves. It moves for what feels like forever. You lose track of time. Hours? Days? You cannot tell. There is no bathroom. Men relieve themselves where they stand. The smell becomes unbearable. Some men faint. There is nowhere for them to fall. They just hang there, suspended by the press of bodies. You try not to think about the fact that some of the men around you might be dead. You try not to think about anything at all. When the train finally stops, When those doors finally open, the light is blinding. Fresh air rushes in and you gulp it down like water. German soldiers are yelling again. Raus, raus, schnell. You do not need to speak German to understand. Get out. Move faster. You stumble out of the boxcar onto a platform. You are somewhere in Germany. That is all you know. That is all you need to know. They line you up again. Count you. Recount you. Write things down in ledgers. You are no longer a soldier. You are a number. You are a problem to be processed. They march you through gates, high fences, barbed wire, guard towers, and beyond those gates you see it for the first time. Your new home. Rows and rows of wooden barracks stretching into the distance. Thousands of men in filthy uniforms shuffling between buildings. The smell of unwashed humanity and open latrines hitting you like a physical wall. Welcome to the camp. Welcome to hell with paperwork. Chapter 2. First impressions and processing. The first thing you notice is the mud. Not battlefield mud. Not the shell-churned wasteland you just left behind. This is different. This is the mud of 10,000 men living in one place with no proper drainage, no proper sanitation, no proper anything. It is everywhere, ankle deep in places. It sucks at your boots with every step. It is the color of rust and smells faintly of sewage because that is essentially what it is. A mixture of dirt and human waste and despair all churned together into a paste that coats everything. They process you like inventory. Strip naked. Stand in line. A German doctor barely glances at you. He is looking for contagious diseases, not treating your wounds. If you can stand, you are healthy enough. Your injured side gets a cursory look. No infection yet. Good enough. Move along. They spray you with some kind of disinfectant. It burns your eyes and throat. They shave your head completely. Lice prevention, they claim. Really, it is just one more way to strip away your identity. You barely recognize the gaunt, bald stranger you see reflected in a window. They give you clothes. Not new clothes. Not clean clothes. Just clothes. Trousers that do not fit. A jacket that belonged to someone else. Someone who maybe died in it. There are stains you try not to identify. Boots that are too small or too large. You get what you get. Your own uniform, the one you were captured in, disappears into a pile with hundreds of others. You will never see it again. This new uniform has a large painted circle on the back. Target practice for guards if you try to escape. Not that you are thinking about escape. Not yet. First you need to understand where you are. They assign you to a barracks. Barrack 12 in Block C. These designations mean nothing to you now, but you will learn them. You will learn the geography of this place like you once knew your own hometown. The barracks is a long wooden building, maybe 150 feet in length, with a single door at each end and small windows every 10 feet or so. Inside, it is dark and it is crowded and it is loud with the sound of men coughing and talking and existing in too small a space. Your bed is a wooden shelf, 3 levels high. You get the middle bunk. The man above you will drip sweat and possibly worse onto you during the night. You will do the same to the man below. Each shelf is maybe 6 feet long and 2 feet wide. This is your personal space, your entire world. You share this barracks with 199 other men. 200 bodies breathing the same stale air. 200 men with maybe 15 latrines between them. 200 strangers who will become more familiar to you than your own family. The man in the bunk next to yours introduces himself. Name is Patterson. British. Been here 8 months already. He has that look. The look of someone who has adapted, who has learned the rules, who knows how to survive. He tells you the basics. Morning roll call at dawn. Work details during the day. Evening roll call at dusk. Lights out at 9. No talking after lights out. No leaving the barracks after lights out. Break these rules and you go to the punishment cells. You do not want to go to the punishment cells. He tells you about the food, or what passes for food. Breakfast is ersatz coffee. Not real coffee. Some kind of burnt grain substitute that tastes like dirt water. Lunch is soup. Watery soup with maybe a potato or 2 floating in it if you are lucky. Dinner is bread. Black bread. Dense. Heavy. Probably more sawdust than flour. This is your daily ration. About 1,200 calories if you are lucky. You were burning 4,000 calories a day in the trenches. Your body is about to start eating itself. He tells you about the guards. Mostly older men. Not fit for front-line service. But they are still German soldiers and they still have rifles and they will still shoot you if you give them a reason. Respect them. Do not look them in the eye. Do not argue. Do not resist. Just comply. Always comply. Life is easier when you comply. He tells you about the Red Cross parcels. Sometimes they come. Sometimes they do not. When they do come, they contain food. Real food. Chocolate. Cigarettes. Biscuits. Tinned meat. These parcels are worth more than gold. They are the difference between slow starvation and merely being constantly hungry. But they do not come regularly. Do not count on them. Do not plan around them. They are a gift from a world that has mostly forgotten you exist. Patterson tells you one more thing. The most important thing. Survive. That is the only goal now. Not escape. Not fighting back. Not maintaining your dignity. Just survive. Day by day. Hour by hour. Survive until this war ends. Survive until you can go home. Assuming you still have a home to go back to. Assuming you can remember what home even means after this place is done with you. Chapter 3. The morning routine. Your first morning starts at 5 a.m. Or maybe it starts earlier. Maybe it never really ended because you did not actually sleep. How could you sleep? The man 3 bunks down coughed all night. A wet, rattling cough that speaks of something serious in his lungs. The man above you snores like a dying engine. The wind howls through gaps in the wooden walls. And your mind will not stop racing, will not stop trying to process where you are and how you got here and whether you will ever leave. But now a whistle blows. Shrill and insistent. Guards are banging on the barracks doors. Raus, raus, schnell. Quickly. You roll off your wooden shelf and your feet hit the floor and immediately you are standing in mud. Not outside mud. Inside mud. Because the floor is dirt and 200 men track in gallons of the stuff every single day and there is no way to keep it out and no one bothers trying anymore. You shuffle toward the door along with everyone else. A river of men in identical ill-fitting clothes, all moving in the same direction. Outside, the dawn is gray and cold. It is always cold. Even in summer, it feels cold because you are always hungry and hunger makes everything feel colder. But it is October now. Almost November. Winter is coming. You are not ready for winter. Roll call. The German guards line you up in rows. 10 men across. 20 rows deep. They count you. Slowly. Methodically. Calling out numbers that you do not understand. If the count is wrong, they start over. If someone is missing, they start over. If someone collapses, they drag him aside and start over. This process takes at least an hour. Sometimes 2. You stand at attention the entire time. Do not move. Do not speak. Do not even shiver, though your whole body wants to shake apart from the cold. While you stand there, you start to notice things. Details. The guard tower to your left has a machine gun. The wire fence surrounding the camp has 3 layers. The outer layer is electrified. You can hear it humming. Between the first and second fence, there are warning signs in multiple languages. Beyond the fence, you can see countryside. Normal German countryside. Trees, fields, a road with a farmer driving a cart. Normal life continuing just a few hundred meters away while you stand here counting and recounting and waiting. Finally, roll call ends. The numbers match. Everyone is accounted for. Now comes breakfast. You file into a large building. The mess hall. Calling it a hall is generous. It is more like a barn with tables. Long wooden tables with benches. No plates. No utensils. Just tin cups. You line up again. Always lining up. An older prisoner, someone on kitchen duty, ladles something dark and liquid into your cup. This is coffee, or what they call coffee. You bring it to your lips. It is hot at least. That is something. The taste is indescribable. Bitter. Burnt. Wrong. But it is hot and it is liquid and it is all you are getting until lunch. You drink it. You force yourself to drink every drop because you cannot afford to waste anything here. Not calories, not warmth, not time. After breakfast, assuming you can call it breakfast, there are maybe 30 minutes before work details begin. This is your free time. This is when you can use the latrines. The latrines. Let us talk about the latrines. They are trenches. Long trenches dug into the ground with wooden planks laid across them. You squat over the plank and you do your business while 20 other men do the same thing right next to you. There is no privacy. There are no walls. There is no toilet paper. You use whatever you can find. Leaves. Newspaper if you are lucky. Your own clothing if you are desperate. The smell is beyond description. The flies in summer are unbearable. And the dysentery. The dysentery means men are using these latrines constantly. Waiting in line. Hurrying. Not always making it in time. After the latrine, you have a few minutes to wash. There is a pump. Cold water only. You splash some on your face. It does nothing. You will not be truly clean again until this war ends. If it ever ends. When it ends. You have to believe it will end. Chapter 4. Work details. At 7 a.m., the guards call for work details. Not everyone works every day. There are too many prisoners. Not enough work. This sounds like a blessing, but it is not. Working means leaving the camp. Working means sometimes better food. Working means time passing faster. Not working means sitting in the barracks all day with nothing to do but think. And thinking is dangerous here. Today you are on a work detail. You and 50 other men are marched out of the camp under armed guard. You walk for about 30 minutes through German countryside. It is strange seeing normal life. Houses, shops, children walking to school. They stare at you. Some throw rocks. The guards do not stop them. Why would they? You are the enemy. You are less than human in their eyes. You arrive at a farm. Large farm. The owner is an old man, probably 70. Most of the young men are at the front. That is why he needs POW labor. Forced labor. Slave labor by any honest definition. The work today is harvesting turnips. Sounds simple enough. It is not. You bend down. Grab the turnip. Pull it from the earth. The earth does not want to let go. Your back screams. You grab another. And another. Hour after hour. No breaks. No rest. Just bend and pull. Bend and pull. Your hands develop blisters. The blisters pop. Your hands bleed. You keep working. The guard watches. His rifle is always ready. Escape is theoretically possible. You are in an open field. You could run. Where would you run to? You are deep in Germany. You speak no German. You have no papers. No money. No civilian clothes. You would be caught within hours. And then? The punishment cells if you are lucky. A bullet if you are not. So you keep pulling turnips. Around noon, they give you food. Lunch. The farmer's wife brings out a pot. More soup. This soup is slightly better than camp soup. It has actual pieces of vegetable in it. Maybe even a bit of fat. You eat it fast. Too fast. Your stomach cramps. You have been hungry for so long that when you finally get food, your body does not know how to process it properly. You eat anyway. Every drop. Then back to the turnips. The work continues until dusk. Your back is no longer screaming. It is beyond screaming. It has moved into a kind of numb agony. Your hands are raw. Your feet hurt. Every muscle in your body is staging a rebellion. Finally, the guard whistles. Time to return. You march back to camp. The same route. Past the same houses. Past the same children who throw the same rocks. You are too tired to care. Evening roll call. Another hour of standing. Another count. Another recount. Then dinner. Tonight it is bread. Black bread. Your daily ration. About 8 ounces. Dense. Heavy. Sour. You eat it slowly. Make it last. This is all you get until tomorrow morning. After dinner, you have maybe an hour before lights out. You use this time to wash again. Poorly. Inadequately. Then you climb onto your wooden shelf and you lie down and you try to ignore the pain in your back and the hunger in your belly and the hopelessness in your soul. Patterson asks how your first day of work was. You tell him about the turnips. He laughs. Not a happy laugh. A knowing laugh. Tomorrow, he says, might be coal mining, or road building, or digging ditches, or moving rocks from one pile to another pile for no apparent reason except to keep you busy and broken. The work varies. The exhaustion does not. You close your eyes. Sleep comes easier tonight than last night. Exhaustion helps. But your dreams are not kind. You dream of the trenches. You dream of the moment you were captured. You dream of home. When you wake up, you will not remember these dreams. You will only remember the feeling they left behind. A hollow ache. A sense of loss so profound it has become part of your identity. The whistle blows at 5 a.m. Day 2 begins. It is exactly like day 1. Tomorrow will be exactly like day 2. And the day after that. And the day after that. Welcome to the rhythm of captivity. Welcome to time measured not in hours but in roll calls and work details and inadequate meals. Welcome to your new normal. Chapter 5. The food situation. Let us talk about food. Or more accurately, let us talk about the slow starvation that they call rations. Your daily caloric intake here averages about 1,200 to 1,500 calories. On a good day. On a bad day, it can drop to 800. For context, you need about 2,500 calories just to maintain your current body weight while doing nothing. Add in the physical labor of work details and you need closer to 3,500 to 4,000 calories. You are getting less than half of what you need. Your body is eating itself. You can feel it happening. Breakfast, as we have established, is ersatz coffee and sometimes a small piece of bread. Maybe 2 ounces if you are lucky. The coffee is not coffee. It is roasted barley or acorns or whatever the hell they can burn and grind into a powder that resembles coffee from a distance. It has no nutritional value. It is hot brown water. But it is hot, and that counts for something when you are cold all the time. Lunch is soup. The famous German Pau soup. Kohlrubensuppe. Turnip soup. You will eat more turnips in the next 3 years than you have eaten in your entire life up to this point. The soup arrives in large metal containers. It is thin, watery, gray. Sometimes there are actual pieces of turnip floating in it. Sometimes there are potatoes. Tiny potatoes. More like potato eyes really. Sometimes there is cabbage. Rotting cabbage that they could not sell to actual humans. You get about a liter of this liquid. Maybe 200 calories if you are lucky. You drink it from your tin cup. There are no spoons. You just drink it. Sometimes you find things in the soup. Things you wish you had not found. A small pebble. Piece of wood. A bug. You learn to not look too closely. You just drink. Dinner is bread. German war bread. Kriegsbrot. It is about 60% rye flour, 20% potato starch, 10% sawdust, and 10% various fillers. Yes, sawdust. Actual sawdust. They are not even hiding it. The bread is dense like a brick. Dark brown. Sour. It sits in your stomach like lead. But it is food. It is calories. It is survival. Your daily ration is about 200 to 300 grams. About 7 to 10 ounces. You get creative with this bread. You save some for morning. You trade some for favors. You ration it out like it is gold because here it might as well be. Sometimes, very rarely, there is meat. By meat, I mean something that once was part of an animal. Usually it is in the soup. A small piece of gristle. A bit of fat. Something unidentifiable. You eat it anyway. You do not ask questions. You cannot afford to be picky. One prisoner claimed he once found horse hooves in the soup. Another swore he saw dog meat being delivered to the kitchen. You do not want to believe these stories, but you also cannot completely dismiss them. Then there are the Red Cross parcels. When they arrive, they are miracles. Absolute miracles. A standard Red Cross parcel contains about 10 pounds of food. Tinned corned beef, condensed milk, chocolate, biscuits, cheese, butter, tea, sugar, cigarettes. For 1 week, you eat like a human being. You have energy. Color returns to your face. Your mind clears. And then the parcel runs out and you crash back down to German rations and the hunger returns with a vengeance. But here is the thing about the parcels. They are supposed to arrive regularly. 1 per prisoner per week according to the Geneva Convention. Reality is very different. Sometimes they arrive. Sometimes they do not. Sometimes the Germans confiscate them. Sometimes they arrive damaged. Sometimes they only send 1 parcel for every 5 prisoners. You are supposed to share. Sharing is difficult when everyone is starving. It leads to fights. It leads to theft. It leads to the kind of desperate behavior that you never thought you were capable of. You start to obsess about food. Constantly, food dominates your thoughts. You dream about meals you ate before the war. Sunday dinners, breakfasts with eggs and bacon, fresh bread with real butter, your mother's cooking, restaurant meals, simple pleasures you took for granted. Now they are fantasies, impossible luxuries from another lifetime. You spend hours describing meals to other prisoners, sharing recipes, planning elaborate dinners you will cook when you get home. If you get home, the hunger is physical. Obviously, your stomach cramps, your body aches, you lose weight at an alarming rate. Within the first month, you drop 20 pounds. Within 6 months, 40. Your ribs show. Your face becomes skeletal. Your eyes sink back into your skull. But the hunger is also psychological. It changes how you think, how you behave, how you view other people. You start seeing them as competition for resources. You start calculating, planning, scheming. How can you get more food? What can you trade? Who can you manipulate? This is not who you were before, but this is who you are becoming. Some men cannot handle it. They stop eating, literally give up. They sit in their bunks and refuse food. They fade away in a matter of weeks. Others become animals, stealing food from weaker prisoners, fighting over scraps, licking bowls clean, eating things that are not food, grass, bark, dirt mixed with salt. You watch this transformation happen. You swear it will not happen to you, but you can feel the edges of that desperation creeping in. You can feel yourself changing, and you hate it. You hate what this place is doing to you. Chapter 6. Water and washing. Water is available. Technically, there are pumps scattered throughout the camp. Maybe 1 pump for every 500 men. The water is cold. Always cold. It comes from deep wells, and in winter it is maybe 1 or 2 degrees above freezing. In summer it is slightly less cold but never warm. Never comfortable. There is no hot water. Not for washing. Not for laundry. Not for anything. Hot water is a luxury from your previous life. A memory. A dream. Washing yourself is a challenge. A daily struggle that you eventually lose. At first, you try to maintain some level of personal hygiene. You stand at the pump in the morning. You strip to the waist. You splash cold water on your face, your chest, your arms. The shock of it makes you gasp. Your skin turns red. Your teeth chatter. But you do it because you are still clinging to civilization. You are still pretending you are human. This lasts maybe a week. Then reality sets in. The water is too cold. You are too tired. The effort is too great for too little return. You still wash your face. Most days, you still try to keep your hands relatively clean. But full body washing, that stops. You might wash once a week if you can force yourself to do it. Once every 2 weeks. Once a month. Eventually, you stop keeping track. There are no showers. Let me be clear about this. No showers. No baths. No facilities for bathing beyond the cold water pump. Some camps, the better ones, might have a communal washing house. Yours does not. You are expected to wash at the pump. In full view of everyone. In all weather. In the middle of winter, when the temperature drops below freezing and the water from the pump has ice crystals in it. Good luck. Laundry is another nightmare. You have 2 sets of clothes. The ones you are wearing and maybe, if you are lucky, 1 spare shirt or pair of trousers. You are supposed to wash these clothes. How? In cold water. With no soap. Or sometimes with soap that is barely soap. It is more like hardened clay that you rub against the fabric and hope for the best. The soap does not lather. It does not clean. It just kind of sits there being useless. So you take your clothes to the pump. You soak them in cold water. You scrub them against a rock or a wooden board. You wring them out. You hang them somewhere to dry. In winter, they freeze solid. You hang your shirt on a line and it becomes a shirt-shaped block of ice. You wait for it to thaw. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes you just put the frozen shirt back on because you need clothes and you cannot wait. The shock of frozen cloth against your skin is something you never get used to. The result of all this is predictable. You stink. Everyone stinks. The smell in the barracks is overwhelming. Unwashed bodies. Unwashed clothes. 200 men living in close quarters with inadequate sanitation. The smell seeps into everything. Your skin. Your hair. Your lungs. You breathe it in with every breath. After a while, you stop noticing your own smell. But you never stop noticing everyone else's. And then there are the specific smells. The man in the bunk above you has dysentery. You can smell it. The man 2 bunks over has an infected foot. You can smell that too. Sweet and rotten at the same time. The latrines are nearby. Their smell permeates everything. Especially in summer when the heat makes it worse. You exist in a cloud of human decay. Your teeth rot. There are no toothbrushes. No toothpaste. You might try to clean your teeth with your finger and some salt if you can get salt. Most of the time you just do not bother. Within 6 months, your gums are bleeding. Within a year, you have loose teeth. Some men lose teeth entirely. They just fall out. Scurvy, malnutrition, infection. Your breath smells like death. Everyone's breath smells like death. Your hair grows. Then they shave it again. Lice prevention. Every few months, everyone gets their head shaved. Completely bald. You start to forget what you looked like with hair. You start to forget what you looked like healthy. When you catch your reflection in a window or a puddle, you do not recognize the skeletal, bald, filthy creature staring back. That cannot be you. But it is. Drinking water is safer than washing water, but only barely. You are supposed to boil it. How? There are no facilities for boiling water for personal use. The kitchen boils water for soup. That is it. So you drink water straight from the pump and you hope it does not make you sick. Sometimes it does. Dysentery, typhoid, cholera. The water is contaminated. Of course it is. Thousands of men. Inadequate sanitation. Latrines too close to water sources. It is a recipe for disease. You get sick. Everyone gets sick. Stomach problems are constant. Diarrhea is not a question of if but when. You spend days running to the latrine. Your body expels everything. You dehydrate. You weaken. And you keep drinking the water because what choice do you have? You drink or you die. You drink and maybe you die anyway, but at least you tried. Chapter 7. The Clothing Nightmare. Your clothes are falling apart. This is not a metaphor. This is literal. The jacket they gave you when you arrived had holes in it to begin with. Now those holes are bigger. The fabric is rotting. The seams are splitting. Your trousers have tears at the knees, at the crotch, at the backside. You have tried to repair them. You do not have needle and thread. You have tried to patch them with scraps of other fabric. The patches do not hold. Your boots are a tragedy. They were already worn when you got them. The soles were thin. Now they are thinner. You can feel every stone through the bottom of your boot. Every rock. Every bit of uneven ground. In wet weather, and it is wet often, water seeps in through cracks. Your feet are constantly damp. Constantly cold. Trench foot is a real possibility. Some men develop it. Their feet turn white, then black. Then they lose toes. Or the whole foot. You check your feet obsessively. Looking for signs. So far you are okay. So far. There is no winter clothing. Not proper winter clothing. You get the same clothes year-round. The same thin jacket. The same worn trousers. When winter comes, and German winters are brutal, you freeze. There is no additional blanket. You get one thin blanket. One. You sleep in your clothes. All of them. You wear your jacket to bed. Your boots to bed. You curl into a ball under your single blanket and you shiver all night long. Some men make additional clothes from whatever they can find. Burlap sacks become vests. Newspaper becomes insulation stuffed between layers of clothing. One clever prisoner unraveled an old blanket and knitted himself a hat. This is genius-level resourcefulness. Most of you are not that clever. Most of you just suffer in silence. The German guards wear proper uniforms. Wool coats in winter, gloves, warm hats. They stand there during roll call comfortable enough while you shake apart from cold in your rags. Sometimes you see them drink hot coffee, actual coffee, steam rising from their cups. Meanwhile, you are drinking burned acorn water and trying not to die from exposure. Underwear is a luxury you no longer have. Your original underwear wore out months ago. Replacement underwear does not exist. You go commando. This is uncomfortable for obvious reasons. Chafing, rashes, infections. Your personal hygiene, already terrible, becomes worse. But what can you do? You cannot create underwear from nothing. Socks are similarly scarce. You might have one pair, maybe two if you are incredibly lucky. These socks develop holes. You darn them, without proper tools, without proper materials. You use scraps of thread pulled from other clothing. You use bits of fabric from your deteriorating jacket. The darning does not really work. The holes just get bigger. Eventually your socks are more hole than sock. You wear them anyway because even bad socks are better than no socks. In summer, different problems emerge. Heat. The same heavy jacket that is inadequate for winter is too much for summer. But you have no other clothes. You cannot take it off because then you will have nothing to wear in winter. So you sweat. You overheat. You develop heat rash. Your clothing, already filthy, becomes caked with salt from dried sweat. It stiffens, chafes. It is miserable. Lice live in your clothing. Millions of them. Tiny parasites that feast on your blood and breed in the seams of your jacket and trousers. You can feel them moving, crawling across your skin, biting. The itching is constant, maddening. You scratch until you bleed. The bleeding creates sores. The sores become infected. You continue scratching anyway because the itching is worse than the pain. Every few weeks there is a delousing. They take your clothes. All of them. You stand naked while they put your clothes in some kind of fumigation chamber. High heat. Chemicals. The process is supposed to kill the lice. It does. For about a week. Then the lice come back. They always come back. They are in the barracks. In the bedding. In other men's clothing. Delousing is a temporary reprieve at best. When your clothes finally fall apart completely, which they will, you are issued replacements. Replacements from the pile. The pile of clothes taken from dead prisoners. Or clothes sent from other camps. Or clothes donated by who knows where. These replacement clothes are no better than your original clothes. Often they are worse. But you take what you get. You have no choice. You are grateful for rags because rags are better than nothing. Some men become obsessed with their clothes, protecting them, hoarding them, sleeping with their boots under their pillow so no one steals them. This is not paranoia. This is survival. If someone steals your boots, you will not get new ones. You will go barefoot. In a German winter, that is a death sentence. So you guard your possessions like they are treasure. Because here they are. Chapter 8. Disease and epidemic. Disease is not a possibility. It is a certainty. It is only a question of which disease will get you first. The camp is a perfect breeding ground for every pathogen known to medical science. Overcrowding, poor sanitation, malnutrition, contaminated water. No medical care worth mentioning. Put all these factors together and you have a plague waiting to happen. Multiple plagues, actually. Typhus is the big one. The killer. Typhus spreads through lice. Remember those lice crawling all over your body? They carry typhus. When an infected louse bites you, you get typhus. The symptoms start with fever. High fever. Your temperature shoots up to 104 or 105 degrees. You shake with chills even though you are burning up. Then comes the rash. Red spots spreading across your chest, your back, your arms. The headache is splitting. The muscle pain is excruciating. You become delirious. You do not know where you are. You do not recognize the men around you. The camp hospital, if you can call it that, is just another barracks. No real medicine. No real doctors. Just a few orderlies trying their best with nothing. When a typhus outbreak hits, and it will hit, the hospital fills up fast. Dozens of men dying simultaneously. They put the sick men on wooden shelves, same as everywhere else. 3 high. The men on the top shelf sometimes fall off when they thrash in delirium. The men on the bottom shelf lie in the waste from the men above them. It is hell. Pure hell. The death rate from typhus in these camps can reach 30 or 40%. Think about that. 2 men out of every 5 who contract typhus will die. There is no cure. No treatment except rest and hope. Most men do not get enough food or rest to fight off the infection. Their immune systems are already compromised from starvation. Typhus just finishes what hunger started. But typhus is not alone. Dysentery stalks the camp constantly. Bacterial dysentery, amoebic dysentery, both are terrifying. You eat contaminated food or drink contaminated water, and within days you are sick. Severe diarrhea, bloody diarrhea. You lose fluids faster than you can replace them. Dehydration sets in. Your electrolytes go haywire. Your heart struggles. Some men die from dysentery within a week. Just waste away to nothing. Their bodies expelling everything until there is nothing left to expel. Then there is tuberculosis, TB, the White Death. It spreads easily in the crowded barracks. One man coughs. Others breathe in the bacteria. TB is insidious. It starts slow. A cough, night sweats, weight loss. But you are already losing weight from malnutrition, so how would you know? By the time you realize you have TB, your lungs are already damaged. You cough up blood. Each breath is painful. There is no cure, no treatment. You just get weaker and weaker until you stop breathing. Influenza sweeps through periodically. Remember, this is 1917, 1918. The Spanish flu is coming. Has maybe already started. In the overcrowded, unsanitary conditions of the camp, influenza spreads like wildfire. Everyone gets sick at once. The fever, the cough, the body aches. For healthy men with good nutrition, influenza is unpleasant but survivable. For starving prisoners with compromised immune systems, it is often fatal. Pneumonia is another killer, especially in winter. Your clothes are inadequate. Your shelter is inadequate. You are cold and wet constantly. Your body cannot fight off respiratory infections. What starts as a simple cold progresses to pneumonia. Fluid fills your lungs. Breathing becomes difficult, then impossible. You drown in your own fluids, and there is nothing anyone can do to help you. Skin infections are universal. Everyone has them. Scratches from lice bites get infected. Cuts from work details get infected. Rashes become abscesses. Abscesses become ulcers. Without antibiotics, infections that should be minor become serious. Some become fatal. Men lose limbs from infections. Sometimes they lose their lives. Scurvy appears after months of vitamin C deficiency. Your gums bleed. Your teeth fall out. Old wounds reopen. New wounds do not heal. You bruise easily. Constantly. Your joints ache. You feel exhausted all the time. Beyond normal tired. A bone-deep exhaustion that no amount of rest can fix. And then there are the mental illnesses. Shell shock was common among soldiers at the front. Here in the camp, men develop different psychological problems. Depression. Severe clinical depression. Men stop caring about anything. Stop eating. Stop moving. Just lie in their bunks waiting to die. Some succeed. Others develop what we would now call PTSD. Nightmares. Panic attacks. Violent outbursts. There is no psychiatric care. No counseling. No medication. Men suffering from mental illness are just left to suffer. Every morning during roll call, there are fewer men. Dead overnight. Carried away before dawn. You do not always know who died. You just notice the gaps. The empty spaces where someone used to stand. After a while, you stop trying to keep track. The dead blend together. They become statistics. Numbers. Not people. You cannot afford to think of them as people. That way lies madness. Chapter 9. The work details continue. The work never stops. Day after day, work details march out of the camp. You rotate through different assignments. Some are better than others. None are good. Today you are on a coal mine detail. This is one of the worst assignments. Coal mining is dangerous work even for trained miners with proper equipment. For starving prisoners with minimal tools and no safety measures, it is a death trap waiting to spring. They march you to the mine. It is maybe 5 kilometers from the camp. The walk takes about an hour because you move slowly. Always slowly. No one has energy to move fast anymore. The mine entrance is a dark hole in a hillside. Wooden supports hold back the earth. Some of these supports are rotting. You can see cracks in the beams. This does not inspire confidence. You go down, into the earth, into darkness broken only by a few dim lanterns. The temperature drops. It is cold on the surface. It is colder down here. The air is thick with coal dust. Every breath fills your lungs with particles. You can taste it, feel it coating your throat. By the end of the day, you will be coughing up black mucus. By the end of the week, your lungs will ache constantly. Your job is simple. Dig coal. Load it into carts. Push the carts to the surface. Repeat. The tools are basic. Pickaxe. A shovel. No machinery. No drills. Just manual labor. You swing the pickaxe. It bites into the coal seam. Your shoulders scream. Your back protests. You ignore both. Swing again. And again. Chunks of coal fall away. You shovel them into a cart. The ceiling is low. You cannot stand up straight. You work hunched over, or on your knees, or lying on your side swinging the pickaxe horizontally. Every position is painful. Your spine feels like it is being compressed. Your knees grind against rock. But you keep working because if you stop, the guard will notice. And the guards here are not patient. Cave-ins happen. Not every day, but regularly enough that everyone knows someone who died in a collapse. The rotting wooden supports give way. Tons of earth and rock come crashing down. Men are buried alive, crushed, suffocated. Sometimes they dig out the bodies. Sometimes they do not bother. They just seal off that section of the mine and open a new tunnel elsewhere. The dead become part of the mine forever. Other work details are different but equally brutal. Road building. You carry rocks. All day. Pick up a rock. Carry it 50 meters. Put it down. Go back. Pick up another rock. Your hands bleed. The rock is heavy. Your muscles shake. You drop the rock. Pick it up again. Continue. For 10 hours. This is how roads get built. One rock at a time. With slave labor. Ditch digging. You dig trenches. Not for military purposes. For drainage. For foundations. For whatever the Germans need a ditch for. You dig with a shovel. The ground is hard. Rocky. Clay. Your shovel bounces off. You dig anyway. Inch by inch. Foot by foot. The ditch gets deeper. You stand in it. Throwing dirt over your head. When it rains, which it does often, the ditch fills with water. You keep digging. Standing in water. In mud. Until the water is up to your waist. Still digging. Farm work varies by season. In autumn, you harvest. Turnips. Potatoes. Beets. In winter, you muck out barns. Spread manure. Repair fences. In spring, you plow fields. Plant seeds. In summer, you weed. Thin crops. Everything is manual labor. The German farmers watch you work. They are not cruel necessarily. Not kind either. Just indifferent. You are tools to them. Temporary tools. Disposable. The guards on work details range from bored to sadistic. Most are older men. Unfit for frontline service. They resent being stuck on guard duty. Some take out their resent ration on prisoners. Random beatings. Sudden violence for minor infractions. Others are just tired old men counting down the days until the war ends. These guards mostly leave you alone as long as you work and do not cause trouble. Escape attempts happen. Not from you. You are too smart for that. But other men try. They see an opportunity. A moment when the guard is not looking. They run. They never make it far. The guards raise the alarm. Dogs are released. Trained attack dogs. German shepherds. They chase down the escapee within an hour. Drag him back. What happens next is not pleasant. Sometimes the escapee survives the beating. Sometimes he does not. Either way, he ends up in the punishment cells. You do not want to end up in the punishment cells. After work, you march back to camp. Evening roll call, dinner, your wooden bunk, sleep, then it starts again, and again, and again. The monotony becomes its own form of torture. Each day is identical to the last. No variation, no hope of variation. Just work and hunger and exhaustion in an endless loop until you cannot remember what life was like before and cannot imagine what life will be like after. Chapter 10. The Brutal Winters. Winter arrives in November. You are not ready for it. How could you be? You have no warm clothes, no heating in the barracks, no way to prepare. The temperature drops, first to freezing, then below, way below. German winters can reach -15 or -20 degrees Celsius. That is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Or colder. And you are living in a wooden shack with gaps in the walls wearing rags. Your barracks has no insulation. None. It is just wooden planks nailed together. Wind comes through the gaps. Not a gentle breeze. A howling, cutting wind that finds every opening and exploits it. You try to stuff the gaps with whatever you can find. Paper, cloth scraps, even mud. Nothing works. The cold gets in. It settles into the barracks like a living thing. At night, the temperature inside the barracks is maybe 1 or 2 degrees warmer than outside. Maybe. You lie on your wooden shelf under your single thin blanket wearing all your clothes and you still freeze. Your breath comes out in clouds. Ice forms on the inside of the windows, on the walls. The moisture from 200 men breathing freezes on every surface. The barracks becomes a frozen cave. Sleep is nearly impossible. You shiver so violently that your whole body shakes. Your teeth chatter. You curl into the tightest ball you can manage trying to conserve heat. You press against the man next to you. He presses back. Everyone becomes a tangle of bodies seeking warmth. Modesty disappears. Dignity disappears. Only survival matters. You need body heat. Everyone else needs yours. So you huddle together like animals and you pray for morning. Frostbite is common. Your fingers go numb. Your toes go numb. You cannot feel them anymore. This is dangerous. When you cannot feel your extremities, they can freeze without you knowing. You check constantly, wiggling your fingers, flexing your toes, looking for the telltale white patches that indicate frostbite. Some men lose fingers, lose toes. The tissue dies, turns black, falls off, or gets amputated. There is no anesthetic. They just cut off the dead parts and tell you to deal with it. Morning roll call in winter is torture. Standing outside for an hour or more in sub-zero temperatures wearing inadequate clothing. Your body cannot generate enough heat to keep warm while standing still. The cold seeps into your bones, into your core. Hypothermia becomes a real risk. Men collapse during roll call, sometimes from exhaustion, sometimes from the cold. The guards drag them aside. If they wake up, fine. If they do not, well, that is one less man to count. The pumps freeze. The water inside the pipes turns to ice. No washing. Not that you were washing much anyway, but now it becomes impossible. You cannot even splash cold water on your face. The latrines freeze too. Human waste piles up and freezes solid, creating hills of frozen excrement. In spring, when everything thaws, the smell will be unimaginable. For now, it is just frozen and slightly less awful. Food in winter is even worse than normal. The soup freezes if you do not eat it immediately. Your bread freezes solid. You have to thaw it somehow before you can eat it. Some men put the bread under their arms. Body heat slowly thaws it. Others put it in their mouth and wait for saliva to soften it. Eating frozen bread can damage your teeth. Crack them. You eat it anyway. Work details in winter are brutal beyond description. Digging frozen ground. Mining in frozen shafts. Building roads in snow and ice. Your hands are too cold to grip tools properly. You drop things. Your fingers do not respond to commands. You push through. What choice do you have? Stop working and you get punished. Or you freeze to death. Or both. Some men do not survive the winter. They go to sleep one night and do not wake up. Hypothermia. Their body temperature drops below the critical threshold and their heart just stops. You wake up next to a corpse. This happens regularly. You stop being shocked by it. Dead men are removed. New men take their bunks. The cycle continues. Chilblains develop on everyone. Painful swelling and inflammation of the skin caused by repeated exposure to cold. Your fingers swell. Your toes swell. The skin turns red, then purple. It itches intensely, but you cannot scratch because scratching makes it worse. Chilblains can last for weeks. They can become chronic. Some men still have chilblains in summer. There is no heating. I want to be absolutely clear about this. No stoves. No fireplaces. No heaters of any kind. The Germans are fighting a war. They do not have fuel to spare for prisoner comfort. So you freeze. All winter long. From November to March. 5 months of cold that never really goes away. Even when spring arrives, you will still feel cold. The chill has soaked so deep into your body that you cannot shake it. Some men try to start fires. Secretly. Using scraps of wood. Paper. Anything that burns. This is forbidden. Extremely forbidden. The barracks are made of wood. A fire could burn down the entire building with 200 men inside. The guards shoot people for starting fires. No warning. No trial. Just a bullet. You have seen it happen. You will not risk it. You freeze instead. Chapter 11. Punishment and discipline. The rules are simple. Obey the guards. Work when told. Do not try to escape. Do not steal. Do not fight. Do not talk back. Do not look at guards the wrong way. Do not do anything that could possibly be interpreted as disrespectful or disobedient. These rules are not written down anywhere. You are just expected to know them, and the penalties for breaking them are severe. The punishment cells are located in a separate building. A stone building. Small. Dark. You have heard stories about the punishment cells. Everyone has heard stories. They are worse than you can imagine. When you break a rule, when you displease a guard, when you are simply unlucky, they take you to the cells. The cells are maybe 2 meters by 2 meters. Concrete floor. Concrete walls. No windows. A single heavy door with a small slot at the bottom for passing food. No furniture. No bed. No blanket. Nothing. You sit on the concrete floor. Or you stand. There is barely enough room to lie down. If you lie down, you lie on bare concrete. The cold in the punishment cells is beyond anything you have experienced in the barracks. Concrete is an excellent conductor of cold. Pulls heat from your body. You sit on that concrete floor and the cold seeps up through your clothes, through your skin, directly into your bones. You try to stay standing. Your legs give out. You sit. You try to stay sitting. You end up lying down, shivering on concrete, alone in darkness. Food in the punishment cells is reduced. You get maybe half the normal rations. Half of almost nothing is even less than nothing. Water comes once a day. A cup. If you are lucky. Sometimes they forget. Or they do not forget. Sometimes withholding water is part of the punishment. You drink your own urine. You do not want to. You have to. Dehydration will kill you faster than hunger. Time in the cells varies. Minor infractions might get you 3 days. Major infractions can be 2 weeks. Or longer. Escape attempts can be a month. If you survive a month in the cells, you come out changed. Broken. Your spirit crushed. That is the point. The cells are not just punishment. They are behavior modification. They are meant to destroy your will to resist. Beatings are common. The guards have sticks. Wooden clubs. They use them freely. You look at a guard wrong and he hits you. You work too slowly and he hits you. You stumble during roll call and he hits you. The beatings are not systematic. They are random, unpredictable. This is worse than regular beatings because you never know when it is coming. You are always tense, always waiting for the blow. Some guards are worse than others. There is one guard. Everyone knows him, calls him the brute. He is a large man, enjoys his work too much. He does not just beat prisoners. He brutalizes them. Broken bones, smashed faces. One prisoner lost an eye. Another lost several teeth. The brute laughs while he does it. You avoid him. Everyone avoids him. But the camp is not that large. Eventually you cross his path. Eventually he notices you. You pray he is in a good mood. Public punishments happen occasionally. Poor encourager les autres. To encourage the others. When someone commits a serious infraction, they make an example. They tie the prisoner to a post in the center of the camp. Everyone is forced to watch. The guards beat him, methodically, taking turns. The prisoner screams, then stops screaming. The guards continue. When they finish, they leave him tied to the post. For hours, sometimes overnight. A warning to everyone else. Executions are rare, but they happen. Escape attempts that involve violence. Attacks on guards. Sabotage. These offenses carry the death penalty. The execution is by firing squad. They make everyone watch that too. Form up the entire camp. Force you to witness. The prisoner is tied to a post. Blindfolded. The firing squad aims. Shoots. The body slumps. Blood soaks into the ground. The guards leave the body there for a day. Another warning. Another lesson. This could be you. Food theft is dealt with harshly. If you are caught stealing food from another prisoner, the punishment is severe. Beating. Cells. Public humiliation. But here is the thing. Everyone steals food. You have to. The rations are not enough to survive on. So you steal. Carefully. Secretly. You take a few extra grams of bread when no one is looking. You pocket a potato from the soup kitchen. Small thefts. Desperate thefts. And you hope you do not get caught because if you do, the punishment will be brutal. Fighting among prisoners is technically forbidden. But the guards often encourage it. They find it entertaining. Two starving men fighting over a scrap of food. The guards place bets. Laugh. The fights are ugly. Weak men swinging at each other with no real strength. More wrestling than fighting. Eventually someone wins. Or everyone is too exhausted to continue. The guards lose interest. Move on. And you are left with another enemy. Another man who remembers you tried to take his food. Another potential threat in a place already full of threats. Chapter 12. Mail and communication. Mail is your only connection to the outside world. Your only proof that life continues beyond these fences. The Red Cross is supposed to facilitate mail service. Letters from home. Letters to home. In theory, this happens regularly. In reality, it is inconsistent at best. When mail arrives, and it does arrive just not reliably, it is an event. The guards announce it during roll call. Mail distribution this afternoon. Everyone gets excited. Hope flares up. Maybe there is a letter for you. Maybe someone remembers you exist. You wait. The afternoon drags on forever. Finally, they call names. One by one. Men step forward. Receive their letters. Return to the crowd clutching precious paper. Your name is called. You step forward. The guard hands you an envelope. It is from home. You can tell by the handwriting. Your mother's handwriting. You take it. Hold it. Do not open it yet. Save it for later. For privacy. For a moment when you can properly process whatever is inside. That evening, back in the barracks, you open the letter. Carefully. The paper is thin. Delicate. The letter is dated 4 months ago. For months. That is how long it took to reach you. You read slowly. Your mother's words. News from home. Your father is well. Your sister got married. The weather has been good. Crops came in better than expected. Ordinary things. Boring things. Beautiful things. But there is censorship. Large sections are blacked out. Thick black ink obscuring words and sentences. The censors have been through this letter. Both British censors before it was sent and German censors after it arrived. Anything that could be considered sensitive information is removed. Anything about the war, about politics, about conditions at home that might affect morale. You are left with fragments, pieces of information. You try to fill in the blanks. Guess what was censored? It is like a puzzle with missing pieces. You want to write back. You need to write back. The camp provides paper. Thin paper, and pencils, short pencils, dull pencils. You are allowed to write letters, but they will be censored too. You cannot mention anything about camp conditions. Nothing about food. Nothing about treatment. Nothing that would worry your family or provide intelligence to the enemy. So what can you write? You write that you are alive, that you are thinking of them, that you hope they are well. You fill the page with bland reassurances. Everything is fine. Do not worry. The weather is changing. I hope to be home soon. Lies. All lies. But necessary lies. You cannot tell them the truth. The censors would black it out anyway. And knowing the truth would only hurt them. Better they think you are okay. Better they have hope. Sending letters is its own challenge. You give your letter to the camp administration. They are supposed to forward it through the Red Cross. Sometimes they do. Sometimes your letter disappears into a pile somewhere and never gets sent. You have no way of knowing if your letters reach home. No way of knowing if your family is receiving your reassurances. You just keep writing, keep hoping, keep pretending there is still a connection. Packages arrive occasionally, sent by family, sent by aid organizations. These packages are opened and inspected before you receive them. Thoroughly inspected. Anything the Germans consider contraband is removed. Anything of value is often stolen. What reaches you is whatever the guards decided to leave. Sometimes it is nothing. Sometimes it is a few items. Pair of socks. Some chocolate. A book. These items are treasures. Photographs are precious beyond measure. You receive a photograph from home. Your family posed in front of the house. Everyone smiling, dressed in their best clothes. You stare at this photograph for hours, memorizing faces, details. This is what you are fighting to get back to. This is what you are surviving for. You keep the photograph in your pocket, next to your heart. Eventually it gets worn, creased, dirty. You do not care. It is your most valuable possession. News from the outside world is scarce. The Germans do not provide newspapers to prisoners. You hear rumors, from guards, from new arrivals, from work details. The war is going well for Germany. The war is going badly for Germany. There is a revolution in Russia. The Americans have entered the war. None of it can be verified. All of it might be propaganda. You do not know what to believe. Some men become obsessed with mail, waiting for letters that never come, checking every distribution, every time, hoping, disappointed, again and again. It breaks them. The silence from home becomes unbearable. Are they dead? Have they forgotten? Have they stopped caring? Or are the letters simply not getting through? The uncertainty is torture. You try not to become one of those men. You try to accept that communication is unreliable, that letters will come when they come, that you cannot control it. But it is hard, so hard, because those letters are your only proof that you existed before this place, that you were once a person with a life and a family and a future. Without them, it becomes easy to believe that none of it was real, that you have always been here, that you will always be here. Chapter 13. The Guards and the Watched. The guards are not monsters. Not all of them anyway. They are men. Older men mostly. Too old for frontline combat. Or injured. Or simply unlucky enough to be assigned to guard duty instead of real fighting. They have names, families, lives outside this camp. You do not know these things about them. To you, they are just uniforms. Authority. Threat. Some guards are indifferent. They do their job, walk their patrols, watch the prisoners, enforce the rules, but they take no pleasure in it. They do not seek opportunities to punish or humiliate. These guards are the best you can hope for. They leave you alone as long as you follow orders. You can almost pretend they are not there. Other guards are cruel, not necessarily sadistic, just cruel in the casual way that people can be cruel when they have absolute power over others who they have been taught to see as less than human. These guards insult prisoners, mock them, find excuses to hand out punishments, push boundaries, test limits. They are not beating you bloody every day. They are just making life that little bit harder, that little bit more miserable. Death by 1,000 small cruelties. Then there are the true sadists, the ones who enjoy their work, who volunteered for this assignment because it gives them opportunities to hurt people without consequence. You already know about the brute. There are others like him. Not many, but enough. These men are dangerous. You avoid them. Make yourself invisible when they are near. Do not look at them. Do not speak. Do not exist in their presence if you can help it. The guards rotate. New ones arrive. Old ones leave. Sometimes a guard you have gotten used to disappears, goes to the front, gets reassigned, dies. You do not know, do not care really, except that a known guard is better than an unknown one. You learn their patterns, their moods, their triggers. When a new guard arrives, you have to start over. Learn everything again. Figure out what sets him off, what keeps him calm. Language is a barrier. Most guards speak only German. Most prisoners speak only English or French or Russian depending on nationality. Communication is difficult. This works in your favor sometimes. You can curse at guards in English and they do not understand. Small rebellions, tiny victories, but it also makes things harder. When a guard gives an order and you do not understand, you might do the wrong thing. And then you get punished for not obeying an order you could not comprehend. Some guards are bribable. If you have cigarettes from a Red Cross parcel, you can trade them for favors. Better work assignments. Extra food. Looking the other way when you break small rules. The exchange rate varies. One cigarette might get you an extra piece of bread. A whole pack might get you out of a punishment detail. But you have to be careful. Some guards take the bribe and then punish you anyway for attempting to bribe them. It is a gamble. The guards talk among themselves. You watch them. During roll call, during work details, during their breaks. They smoke, drink coffee, real coffee, laugh at jokes you cannot hear. Their lives continue normally while yours is frozen in place. They will go home after the war, back to their families, their farms, their jobs. They will try to forget this place, forget you. You envy them this, their certainty of a future. At night, the guards in the towers watch with searchlights, sweeping beams of light across the camp, looking for escapees, looking for anyone breaking curfew. You hear the generators humming, see the lights moving, patterns, predictable patterns. Some men study these patterns, looking for blind spots, timing the sweeps, planning escapes that will never happen, or that will happen and fail. The searchlights always find you. You hate the guards. Of course you hate them. They are your captors, your tormentors, the physical manifestation of your imprisonment. But you also pity them sometimes. When you see an old guard with a limp, or a young guard who looks like he should still be in school, they are trapped too, in their own way, trapped in this war, in this camp, in their roles. You are all prisoners. The only difference is that they have rifles and you do not. Chapter 14. Fellow prisoners and hierarchy. 200 men in your barracks. Thousands more in the camp. British, French, Russian, Belgian, Italian, Serbian. Men from all corners of Europe. United by capture. Divided by everything else. Language, nationality, class, rank. These divisions matter. More than you might expect. The camp is segregated. Officers in one section, enlisted men in another. You are enlisted, private, bottom of the barrel. The officers get better treatment, better food, better accommodations. They do not work. According to the Geneva Convention, officers cannot be forced to labor. So they sit in their section reading books and playing cards while you dig ditches. You resent this, deeply, bitterly, but there is nothing you can do about it. Within the enlisted section, hierarchies form. Informal hierarchies based on nationality. Rank before capture. Personal strength. The British stick together. The French stick together. Russians with Russians. This tribalism is natural. Familiar language. Shared culture. Common understanding. But it also creates tensions. Resources are scarce. When a Red Cross parcel arrives for British prisoners, the French do not benefit. When there is one good work detail assignment, Everyone wants it. Fights break out along national lines. Then there are the individuals. Every camp has them. The scrounger. The man who can acquire anything for a price. He has connections. Knows guards. Knows other prisoners. Can get extra food. Clothing. Information. You do not know how he does it. You do not ask. You just know that if you need something desperately enough, he can probably get it. For a cost. The bully. There is always a bully. Bigger than average. Or meaner. Or simply more willing to use violence. He takes what he wants. Food from weaker prisoners. Blankets. Space. No one stops him. The guards do not care about prisoner-on-prisoner violence as long as it does not disrupt camp routine. So the bully continues. You avoid him when possible. Give him what he wants when not. Survival means choosing your battles. The broken ones. Men who have given up. They sit in their bunks. Stare at nothing. Refuse food. Stop speaking. You try to help at first. Encourage them. Share your rations. Talk to them. But they are beyond reach. They have decided to die. And they will die. Usually within a few weeks. Their bodies are removed. Someone else takes their bunk. Life continues. The religious. Some men find comfort in faith. They pray. Organize small services. Share verses from memory since Bibles are scarce. You are not particularly religious. Never were. But you understand the appeal. Faith provides structure, purpose, hope for something beyond this existence. You respect it even if you do not share it. The escape planners. Always planning. Always scheming. Tunnels, disguises. Forged papers. Most plans are fantasy. Impossible. But the planning gives them something to do. Something to hope for. You listen to their plans. Nod along. Do not volunteer to help. Escape attempts fail. Escapees get caught. And then they get shot. Or worse, you are not brave enough for that. Or maybe you are just too practical. Either way, you stay put. Friends form. Real friends. Bonds forged in suffering. Patterson becomes more than just the man in the next bunk. He becomes your friend. You share food. Watch each other's backs. Talk about home. About the future. About anything except where you are. These friendships are lifelines. Without them, you would sink into despair. With them, you have a reason to keep going. But friends die. Patterson gets sick. Typhus. You watch him deteriorate. Fever. Delirium. Thrashing in his bunk. You try to help. Bring him water. Wipe his forehead. It is not enough. He dies on a Tuesday. Or maybe a Wednesday. You stop keeping track of days. They carry his body away. Someone else moves into his bunk that same day. You do not make friends with the new man. Cannot afford to. Losing Patterson hurt too much. Trust is complicated. You trust some men. Do not trust others. Betrayal happens. Someone steals your bread while you sleep. Someone reports you to the guards for a minor infraction to earn favor. Someone lies about you to improve their own position. You learn to be cautious, to guard your possessions, to watch your back, to trust sparingly. Humanity persists, despite everything, despite the horror and the hunger and the death. Men still laugh sometimes, share jokes, stories, memories of better times. They still help each other when they can, still mourn the dead, still dream of home. The camp tries to strip away your humanity, make you animals, but something human remains, battered, diminished, but present, clinging to existence against all odds. Chapter 15. Medical care such as it is. The camp hospital is Barrack number 7. Same wooden structure as all the others. Same gaps in the walls. Same dirt floor. The only difference is the sign outside. Lazarette. Hospital. And the smell. The hospital smells different. Worse. Like infection and death concentrated into one building. Inside, rows of wooden bunks same as everywhere else. But these bunks are occupied by the truly sick. The dying. Men with typhus. Men with pneumonia. Men with infected wounds. Men coughing up blood. Men delirious with fever. The sound is constant. Moaning. coughing, crying, whimpering, silence when someone stops breathing. The medical staff consists of a few German orderlies and maybe one actual doctor. The doctor is usually not there. He visits once or twice a week, walks through quickly, makes notes, leaves. The orderlies do what they can with almost nothing. They have bandages, a few medicines, aspirin if you are very lucky, morphine only for the truly desperate cases. No antibiotics. Those do not exist yet. No proper surgical equipment. No sterile conditions. Nothing that would constitute real medical care. When you get sick enough to warrant the hospital, and this takes considerable illness because bed space is limited, they bring you here. You lie on a wooden bunk. An orderly might check on you once a day. Might give you water if they remember. Might change your bandage if you have a wound. Mostly you just lie there, suffering, hoping your body can fight off whatever is trying to kill you, hoping you are strong enough despite months of starvation and exposure. Treatment options are minimal. Fever? Wet cloth on your forehead. That is it. Infection? They might clean the wound. Might not. Broken bone? They splint it if they have materials. If not, you just have to let it heal crooked. Surgery? Forget it. There is no operating room. No anesthesia. If you need surgery, you are probably going to die anyway. The man in the bunk next to yours has gangrene. You can smell it. Sweet and rotten. His leg is black. Swollen. Obviously infected beyond saving. He needs amputation. But there is no one to perform an amputation. No proper tools. No anesthetic. So he lies there, waiting, the infection spreading, moving up his leg, into his blood. He has maybe a week. Everyone knows it, including him. He just waits. Sometimes he cries. Mostly he stares at the ceiling. Triage happens informally. The orderlies decide who gets treatment and who gets left to die. They cannot save everyone. Not enough supplies. Not enough staff. Not enough beds. So they choose. Men who might survive with minimal intervention get priority. Men who are too far gone get moved to the death ward. Yes, there is a death ward. The back corner of the hospital, where they put men who are actively dying. No treatment. Just a place to die slightly more comfortably than on the barracks floor. You watch men die. Close. One bunk over. Across the aisle. The death rattles. The labored breathing that gets slower and slower until it stops. The moment when a person becomes a corpse. It happens several times a day in the hospital. The orderlies remove bodies in the morning, before dawn, so most prisoners do not see, do not have to confront the reality of how many are dying. Mental health care does not exist. Men having breakdowns, screaming, violent, catatonic. They get restrained if violent, ignored if not. No therapy, no medication, no treatment at all. They either recover on their own or they do not. Most do not. Preventive care is non-existent. No vaccinations, no screenings, no health checks. The only time you see medical staff is when you are already seriously ill. By then, it is often too late. The diseases that kill in this camp are largely preventable. Better food, better sanitation, better living conditions, basic public health measures, none of which are provided. You recover from what you do not know. Maybe just a bad cold that became slightly worse than normal. You were in the hospital for 5 days. 5 days of lying on a wooden bunk, drinking occasional water, eating the same terrible food as always. No treatment beyond rest. But you survived. Your body fought off the infection on its own. You are lucky. You walk out of the hospital, back to your barracks, weaker than before, thinner than before, but alive. That is what passes for victory here. Chapter 16. Lice, vermin, and infestation. The lice are everywhere. I mentioned them earlier, but I need to emphasize this. The lice are not a minor inconvenience. They are a plague. Millions upon millions of tiny parasites infesting every surface. Every piece of clothing. Every blanket. Every bunk. Your body. Everyone's body. There is no escaping them. You feel them constantly, crawling across your skin, in your hair, If you still had hair, down your back, between your toes, everywhere, biting, always biting. Each bite is a tiny pinprick. One bite is nothing. Thousands of bites simultaneously is torture. The itching is maddening. You scratch until you bleed. You scratch in your sleep. You wake up with blood under your fingernails and fresh scratches on your arms and chest and legs. The lice live in the seams of your clothing. That is where they lay their eggs. You can find them if you look closely. Take off your jacket. Examine the seams. There they are. Hundreds of them. Fat little bodies clinging to fabric. And the nits, the eggs, tiny white specks. Thousands of them. You try to pick them out, crushing the lice between your thumbnails. Pop, 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 satisfying in a grim way. But for every louse you kill, 100 more remain. Delousing happens periodically. The guards announce it. Everyone strips naked, completely naked. You stand in line with hundreds of other men, all exposed, all infested. They take your clothes, put them in a large chamber, heat treatment or chemical fumigation. You wait, naked, in a holding area, for hours. The procedure kills most of the lice. Most, not all. Within a week of delousing, you are infested again. The cycle continues. But lice are not just annoying. They are dangerous, deadly. Lice carry typhus, epidemic typhus. When an infected louse bites you, it defecates. You scratch the bite. The feces enter your bloodstream. You get typhus, and typhus kills. We have already discussed this, but it bears repeating. The lice are not just making you itch. They are actively trying to kill you. Rats are another constant presence. Large rats, German rats, well-fed on the camp's refuse and food stores. They scurry through the barracks at night. You hear them, scratching, squeaking, fighting. Sometimes you feel them run across your legs while you sleep. You try to kick them away. They come back, persistent. The rats carry disease too. Leptospirosis, antivirus. Though you do not know these names. You just know that rat bites can get infected. Badly infected. Men have lost fingers to rat bites. The infection spreading, turning gangrenous, leading to amputation or death. So you try to avoid the rats. Hard to do when you share living space with them. Food attracts rats. If you save bread for later, hide it in your bunk, the rats will find it. They will eat through fabric, through wood, through anything to get to food. You learn to eat everything immediately, or keep food on your person at all times. Even then, the rats are bold. They will try to steal food from your hand while you eat. Flies in summer, swarms of them, breeding in the latrines, in the garbage, in the standing water, everywhere. They land on everything. Your food, your face, your wounds. They walk across open sores with feet that have just been in human feces. Infection follows. Always. The flies are vectors for dysentery, for typhoid, for a dozen other diseases. But you cannot keep them away. There are too many. They are inescapable. Bedbugs infest the bunks. Tiny insects that hide in cracks during the day and emerge at night to feed. You lie down to sleep and they swarm, biting. Hundreds of bites. You wake up covered in red welts, itching, bleeding from scratched bites. The bedbugs are harder to see than lice, harder to kill. Crushing them releases a distinctive smell, sweet and rotten, the smell of bedbug blood. Fleas jump from person to person. Rat fleas, human fleas, dog fleas from the guard dogs. They bite your ankles, your legs, leave red bumps that itch for days. Fleas carry plague, actual bubonic plague, though plague outbreaks in the camp are rare. Rare but not unheard of. When someone develops swollen lymph nodes and high fever, everyone panics. Plague is highly contagious, highly fatal. Quarantine measures are primitive, ineffective. The sick man either recovers or dies. Usually dies. You become numb to it. The constant presence of vermin, the itching, the bites, the disgust. It becomes normal. Your new baseline. You cannot remember what it was like to be clean, to not itch constantly, To not share your living space with millions of parasites. This is just life now. This is what existence means in a World War I prisoner of war camp. Chapter 17. The slow mental breakdown. Your mind is deteriorating. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, then obviously, undeniably. The combination of stress and malnutrition and isolation and monotony and hopelessness is breaking you down. Your brain is literally starving. It needs calories to function, fat, protein, vitamins. It is getting none of these in adequate quantities. Cognitive decline is inevitable. Memory problems start early. You forget small things. Did you eat today? Yes. Or was that yesterday? You cannot remember. What day is it? What month? You lose track. Time blurs. One day identical to the next. No markers to distinguish them. You try to keep track. Scratching marks on the wall of the barracks. But you forget to mark some days. Or you mark the same day twice. The system breaks down. Names disappear from your mind. You know this person. You have spoken to him dozens of times. But his name? Gone. Blank. You fumble through conversation avoiding using his name because you cannot remember it and you are embarrassed to ask again. More and more names slip away. Eventually you stop trying to remember. Everyone becomes just mate or pal or nothing at all. Concentration becomes impossible. You try to think through a problem. Plan something. The thoughts slide away before you can complete them. Like trying to hold water in your hands. It just runs through your fingers. Reading becomes difficult. You have a book, somehow acquired. You try to read. You read the same page 5 times and cannot remember what it said. The words make no sense. They are just symbols on paper. Your emotions flatten. At first there was fear, anger, sadness, strong emotions. Now there is mostly nothing. Numbness. You watch a man die and feel nothing. You hear news from home and feel nothing. You exist in a gray fog of emotional emptiness. This is actually a mercy. Feeling everything would be unbearable. So your brain shuts down the feeling parts to protect what little sanity remains. Depression is universal. Clinical depression. Not sadness. Not grief. True depression. A chemical imbalance in your starving brain that makes everything feel hopeless and pointless and gray. Getting out of your bunk in the morning takes monumental effort. Why bother? What is the point? You will just be hungry again, cold again, miserable again. Why continue? The only answer you have is that stopping means dying. And some survival instinct, some primitive part of your brain, is not ready to die yet. So you continue. Intrusive thoughts appear. Dark thoughts, violent thoughts, suicidal thoughts. These thoughts are not you. Not really. They are symptoms of starvation and stress and trauma. But they feel real. They feel like your thoughts. You think about walking toward the fence. The electrified fence. Just touching it. Ending this. You think about attacking a guard. Getting shot. Quick death instead of slow starvation. You think about just not eating the next meal. And the meal after that. Letting yourself fade away. Some men act on these thoughts. Not many, but some. You find a man hanging in the barracks. He used his belt, or his torn shirt, or a piece of rope acquired somehow. He could not take it anymore, chose to end it on his own terms. The guards cut him down, make an example. Cowards die dishonorably, they say, as if any of this is honorable. Others simply lose their minds completely. Psychotic breaks. They start seeing things that are not there, hearing voices, talking to people who are not present, yelling at nothing. The guards largely ignore this. As long as the crazy man is not violent or disruptive, he is just another prisoner. He goes to roll call with everyone else, works when assigned, eats his rations, and lives in a reality that exists only in his fractured mind. You worry about yourself. Am I losing my mind? How would I know? If you are going insane, would you be aware of it? You try to stay sharp. Do mental exercises. Recite poems from memory. Do arithmetic. Anything to keep your brain working. But the malnutrition makes it hard. So hard. You can feel yourself slipping. Thoughts becoming less clear. decisions taking longer. You are not the person you were. You will never be that person again. Sleep brings nightmares. Not every night. Most nights. You dream about the war, about the moment of capture, about dying, about being buried alive, about rats eating your face, about starvation. The nightmares are vivid, terrifying. You wake up gasping, covered in sweat despite the cold, heart pounding, and then you realize where you are. And that reality is somehow worse than the nightmare. You develop coping mechanisms. Dissociation. You mentally separate yourself from your body. This is not happening to you. You are somewhere else. Somewhere safe. Your body is here suffering, but you are not really present. This helps. For a while. Until it does not. Until dissociation becomes the default state and you cannot remember what it feels like to be fully present in your own body. Chapter 18. Rare moments and small comforts. There are moments, rare moments, brief moments, when life is almost bearable. These moments are precious. You hold on to them, remember them. They become the bright spots in an otherwise endless darkness. A Red Cross parcel arrives. For you specifically, your name on the label. You open it carefully, savoring the moment. Inside, treasures, real food, chocolate. You eat one square, slowly, let it melt on your tongue. The taste is divine, sweet, rich, real. You had forgotten what real food tastes like. You make the chocolate last. One square per day, rationing pleasure the same way you ration bread. A letter from home. Good news. Everyone is healthy. Your mother sends her love. Your father is proud of you. They miss you, cannot wait for you to come home. You read the letter over and over until you have it memorized. The paper becomes soft from handling. The words fade, but you can still recite it from memory. Sun breaks through clouds on a cold day. You stand in the yard during the brief free period. Face turned upward, eyes closed, feeling warmth on your skin. Just for a few minutes. Just a few precious minutes of warmth and light. You soak it in, store it away. Something to remember during the next long cold night. Someone tells a joke. A good joke. The whole barracks laughs. Real laughter. Not bitter. Not sarcastic. Just genuine human laughter. The sound is strange. You have not heard that sound in months. Feels good. Uncomfortable in its unfamiliarity. But good. A guard shows unexpected kindness. Rare. So rare. But it happens. You drop something. Piece of bread. The guard sees. You expect punishment. Instead, he looks away, pretends not to notice, lets you pick up the bread. This tiny mercy stays with you. Proof that not everyone here is completely inhuman. You find a book, abandoned in a corner somewhere. It is in English, a novel. You have read it before, but that does not matter. You read it again, slowly, making it last. The story transports you. For a few hours each evening, you are not in the camp. You are in the world of the book, with the characters, their problems and triumphs. This escape is more valuable than food. The men in your barracks organize something. Entertainment. Someone can sing. Someone tells stories. Someone performs magic tricks with bits of string and buttons. It is crude, amateurish, but it is humanity expressing itself. Creating beauty from nothing. In the face of everything designed to break you, this small act of defiance, of creativity, of hope, you make a friend. Not just an acquaintance, a real friend, someone you connect with. You talk about philosophy, about books you have read, about plans for after the war. He understands you. You understand him. This connection, this reminder that meaningful human relationships are still possible even here, sustains you. Work detail takes you through a German village. Children are playing in a yard, just playing, being children, chasing each other, laughing. You watch them. They remind you of home, of your own childhood, of a world where wars and camps do not exist, where people just live. The memory hurts, but it also reminds you what you are trying to survive for. That world still exists, out there, waiting. The food one day is slightly better. Not good, Never good, but less awful than usual. A potato that is almost whole. A piece of actual meat in the soup. You savor it. This meal will not be repeated. You know that, so you make it count. Eat slowly. Pay attention to every bite. Feel grateful for this small improvement in an otherwise unrelenting diet. These moments do not make up for the suffering. They do not balance the scales. But they are something. Tiny pinpricks of light in the darkness. Reasons to continue. Proof that even in the worst circumstances, moments of humanity persist. You collect these moments like treasure. Store them in your memory. Bring them out during the darkest times. They remind you that you are still human, still capable of feeling something other than despair, still alive in more than just the physical sense. Chapter 19. The endless waiting. The worst part is not the hunger, not the cold, not the disease. The worst part is the waiting, the endless, purposeless, soul-crushing waiting. Waiting for the war to end, waiting to go home, waiting for anything to change. Waiting while time moves at an impossible crawl, each day lasting forever, each week indistinguishable from the last. In the beginning you had hope. The war will be over by Christmas. Everyone said so. Christmas comes and goes. The war continues. Okay, next spring. Surely by next spring. Spring arrives. Nothing changes. Summer, autumn, another winter, another year. Time becomes an enemy. An additional torture, the realization that this might never end, that you might die here, that you might wait forever. You try to mark time, scratches on the wall, one scratch per day, but you forget sometimes, or you lose count, or you just stop caring. What difference does it make? Knowing how many days you have been here does not make them pass faster, does not bring the end closer. The scratches become meaningless, just marks on wood. Signifying nothing. Rumors circulate constantly. The war is ending. Peace negotiations are happening. An armistice is imminent. You hear these rumors. Everyone hears them. No one believes them anymore. Too many false hopes. Too many disappointments. You have learned to not hope. Hope is dangerous. Hope leads to crushing despair when nothing changes. Better to expect nothing. Accept that you will be here forever. Then any change becomes a pleasant surprise instead of another letdown. But you cannot completely stop hoping. Some part of you, some stubborn, irrational part, continues to believe that eventually this will end, that you will go home, that there is a future beyond these fences. This hope keeps you alive, but it also tortures you, because every day that passes without change is another day that hope goes unfulfilled. The monotony is maddening. Same routine. Every single day, same wake-up time, same roll call, same terrible food, same work detail, same evening roll call, same lights out. Tomorrow will be identical, and the day after, and the day after, forever. You crave variation, anything different, anything to break the pattern. But nothing breaks. The pattern is eternal. You start to forget what life was like before. Real life. With choices and variety and purpose. You try to remember your job. What did you do? What did a normal day look like? You cannot quite recall. The details have faded. Your life before the war feels like a dream. Something you imagined. Not real. This camp. This is reality. This has always been reality. The rest was fantasy. Years pass. You have been here 2 years now. Maybe more. You are not certain. 2 years of waiting, of hoping, of despairing, of surviving. You are 23 years old. You look 50. Your body is wrecked. Your mind is damaged. You have lost teeth, lost weight, lost pieces of yourself that you will never get back. But you are still here, still breathing, still waiting. New prisoners arrive, fresh captures. You see yourself in them. The shock, the horror, the inability to accept this new reality. You want to tell them it gets easier, but that would be a lie. It never gets easier. You just get used to it, become numb to it, learn to function despite it. But the suffering does not decrease. You just become better at enduring it. Old prisoners are released. Occasionally, prisoner exchanges. Medical repatriations. Men too sick to be worth keeping. They leave. You watch them go. Feel nothing but envy. Why them? Why not you? You are suffering too. You want to go home too. But you are healthy enough to still be useful for labor. So you stay. And you wait. And you watch others leave while you remain. The guards change. New faces. But the routine stays the same. The camp administration changes. Different commandant. Different rules. But nothing fundamental changes. You are still a prisoner. Still waiting. The superficial changes only emphasize how much stays the same. How permanent this situation feels. You develop a relationship with time that is completely dysfunctional. Hours feel like days. Days feel like weeks. But somehow months disappear. You cannot account for where they went. Time dilates and contracts in ways that make no sense. You are trapped in an eternal present. No past. No future. Just endless now. Just endless waiting. Chapter 20. Death as a constant companion. Death is normal here. Not tragic. Not shocking. Just normal. Part of the routine. People die. Bodies are removed. Life continues. You stop mourning. Stop feeling. Because if you felt every death, you would be overwhelmed. Crushed under the weight of constant grief. So you become numb to it. Hardened. This is survival. Men die from disease. Typhus. Dysentery. Pneumonia. Tuberculosis. The list is long. You watch them get sick. Watch them get weaker. Watch them die. The progression is predictable. Familiar. First the fever. Then the weakness. Then the point of no return when you know they are not going to make it. Then death. Sometimes quick. Sometimes agonizingly slow. Men die from starvation. Not dramatically. Not all at once. They just waste away. Get thinner. Weaker. Their bodies consume themselves. Muscle disappears. Fat disappears. They become skeletal. Eyes sunken. Skin stretched over bones. They stop being able to walk. Then sit up. Then speak. Then one day they just do not wake up. Heart failure. Organ failure. Complete systemic collapse. Death from malnutrition is ugly. Undignified. Common. Men die from exposure. Winter takes its toll. Hypothermia. Frostbite that becomes infected. Pneumonia from constant cold. The weak die first. The sick. The old. But winter does not discriminate. Even young healthy men can die if they get unlucky. A particularly cold night. Wet clothing that never dries. A slight fever that becomes something worse. Dead by morning. Men die from work accidents. Cave-ins in the mines. Falls from height. Crushed by heavy machinery. These deaths are sudden. One moment a man is alive and working. The next he is dead or dying. The guards call for a stretcher if they bother. Otherwise they just leave the body where it fell and keep the other workers moving. Production must continue. Men die from violence. From guards. From other prisoners. A beating that goes too far. A fight over food that turns lethal. An execution for attempting escape. These deaths are preventable. Unnecessary. But they happen anyway. Violence is an outlet for frustration and despair. Death is sometimes the result. Men die from suicide. Giving up. They hang themselves. Or walk into the fence. Or simply stop eating. These deaths are both the easiest to understand and the hardest. Easy because you understand the impulse. The desire to end the suffering. Hard because you wish they could have held on just a little longer. Maybe the war is almost over. Maybe relief is coming. But they will never know. They chose to leave. You do not judge them. How could you? You have had the same thoughts. The dead are processed efficiently. Bodies are stripped of any useful clothing or possessions. These items go back into circulation. Nothing is wasted. The naked corpses are loaded onto carts. Wheeled away. Buried in mass graves outside the camp. No coffins. No markers. No ceremony. Just holes in the ground. Bodies stacked inside. Dirt shoveled over. Sometimes there is a chaplain. Sometimes not. The Germans do not care much about proper burial for enemy prisoners. You attend the burials when you can. When work schedules permit, stand there as the dirt falls. Say a silent prayer or thought for the dead. Even if you did not know them personally, they were prisoners like you. They suffered like you. They deserved better than this. Better than to die in a foreign country, in a camp, forgotten by the world. The number of dead is staggering. Thousands have died in this camp alone. Tens of thousands across all the camps. Hundreds of thousands total in all countries' POW camps during this war. These numbers are incomprehensible. You cannot process them, cannot truly understand what 500,000 dead prisoners means. You only understand individual deaths. The man in the next bunk. The friend who helped you once. The familiar face that is suddenly gone. You think about your own death. Constantly. Inevitably. Will you survive this? The odds are not good. Many do not. Maybe you will be one of them. Another body on a cart. Another hole in the ground. Would anyone remember? Would your family even know how you died? Or would you just be listed as killed in action? Or missing? Or a prisoner who never came home? But you are still here. Still alive. Each morning you wake up proves that you survived another night. Another day. This is victory. Not glorious. Not heroic. But real. You are alive when so many are not. This thought provides no comfort. Just a grim satisfaction. Survival for survival's sake. Because the alternative is becoming another corpse on a cart. And you are not ready for that. Not yet. Chapter 21. Liberation Rumors and False Hope. The rumors start in the autumn of 1918. Something is happening. Something big. You hear it from guards. From work details. From new prisoners. The Germans are losing. The war is turning. The Allies are pushing forward. Cities are being liberated. It is all unconfirmed. All potentially false. But the rumors persist. Grow stronger. More detailed. More believable. November comes. The rumors intensify. There are riots in German cities. Mutinies in the German Navy. The Kaiser might abdicate. Revolution is spreading. You want to believe. Want to hope. But you have been disappointed before. So many times before. You protect yourself. Do not let yourself imagine freedom. Not yet. Not until it is real. Then on November 11th, the guards gather you for an announcement. The commandant speaks. You do not understand German, but other prisoners translate. An armistice. The fighting has stopped. The war is over. Over. That word echoes in your mind. Over. Cannot be. It must be. You do not know what to feel. Relief. Joy. Disbelief. Nothing. Everything. Your emotions are too broken to properly process this. But here is the thing. The war being over does not mean immediate release. You are still prisoners. Still behind fences. Still under guard. The machinery of repatriation takes time. Weeks. Months. The Germans are dealing with their own problems. Revolution. Political collapse. Food shortages. They cannot simply open the gates and release tens of thousands of prisoners into the chaos. So you wait. Again. Still waiting. Even after the war ends. Some prisoners are released quickly. The severely ill. The wounded. Medical repatriations. You are not sick enough. Not wounded. So you stay. Watch others leave. Feel the same old envy. The same old frustration. Will you ever get out? Or will you die here even after the war has ended? Dark thoughts, but understandable ones. December. Still in the camp. Still waiting. Food rations do not improve. If anything, they get worse. Germany is starving. The blockade continues even after the armistice. Millions of German civilians are facing famine. Prisoners are the lowest priority. You understand this intellectually, but it does not make the hunger easier to bear. You survived the war. Will you die in the peace? January 1919. Over 2 months since the armistice. Still here. The camp is slowly emptying. Prisoners leave in groups, organized by nationality, by capture date. by criteria you do not fully understand. You are not in the early groups. You wait. Your patience has worn through. Your hope is fragile. You have waited 3 years. Now you wait longer. How much more waiting can one person endure? Finally, February. Your group is called. British prisoners captured between certain dates. That includes you. You line up. They process you. Check records. Verify identities. You are officially being released. Repatriated. Going home. The words do not feel real. Even as you are marched out of the camp. Even as the gates close behind you. Even as you board a train heading west. The train is crowded. Dirty. Slow. But it is moving away from the camp. Toward home. You stare out the window at German countryside. The same countryside you have seen on work details. But different now. You are leaving. Actually leaving. After 3 years. After waiting so long you had almost stopped believing it would happen. The journey takes days. The train stops frequently. Delays. Mechanical problems. Bureaucratic confusion. But each stop is still farther from the camp. Closer to home. You are traveling with other released prisoners. British men. French men. All skeletal. All damaged. All silent. What is there to say? You share an experience that has no words. Belgium. Then France. Allied territory. The war is visible here too. Destroyed towns. Shell craters. But also rebuilding. Signs of life returning. Of normal continuing. You see civilians living their lives. Going to markets. Talking. Laughing. This ordinary civilian life seems alien. Unreal. Can people just live like that? Without constant fear and hunger and death? Finally. The coast. Port. Ships waiting. British ships. You board. The ship is full of repatriated prisoners. Hundreds of you. All heading home. The journey across the channel is brief. Hours. But significant. Each kilometer puts more distance between you and the camp. Between you and captivity. Between you and 3 years of suffering. England. Home. The ship docks. You walk down the gangplank on shaky legs. Set foot on British soil for the first time in 4 years. 4 years since you left for the war. Left as a young, healthy man full of patriotism and confidence. Returning as a broken shell. Damaged. Traumatized. Barely recognizable as the person who left. Chapter 22. The long road home and aftermath. They process you at the port. Medical examinations. Delousing. Again. New clothes. Clean clothes. Civilian clothes. The first clean clothing you have worn in years. Feels strange. Too soft. Too clean. You keep expecting it to be taken away. To wake up and find yourself back in the camp. But you do not wake up. This is real. You are really home. The medical examination is thorough. Weight, height. They ask about injuries. Illnesses. You tell them. Typhus. Dysentery. Frostbite. Chronic malnutrition. Possible tuberculosis exposure. The list is long. The doctor takes notes. His expression is grim. You are not the worst case he has seen. Not even close. The worst cases never made it home. They give you back pay. Money you earned while a prisoner according to military regulations. You did not know you were earning pay. You were not being paid in the camp. The Germans were not sending paychecks. But apparently the British Army kept your wages in account. Now you have money. More money than you have seen in years. Feels meaningless. What can money buy that matters? Can it buy back the time you lost? The health you lost? The version of yourself that died in that camp? Transportation home is provided. A train. But first there is a hostel. A place for returned prisoners to stay while they readjust. While they process the necessary paperwork. While they prepare to return to civilian life. You stay for a week. The hostel is clean. The beds are soft. There is enough food. More than enough. They serve real meals. Meat, vegetables, bread with butter. You eat slowly, carefully. Your stomach cannot handle large meals anymore. You get sick if you eat too much. Your digestive system has been damaged by years of starvation. Sleep is difficult. The bed is too soft, too comfortable. You are used to wooden planks. The room is too quiet, too warm. You lie awake staring at the ceiling. When you do sleep, the nightmares come. Worse than ever. You are back in the camp. This freedom was a dream. You wake up gasping, covered in sweat. Takes minutes to remember where you are, to believe you are really free. Other returned prisoners share their stories. Some were in your camp, others in different camps. The stories are similar, variations on the same theme of suffering. Some had it worse than you, some better. It does not matter. You all carry the same damage, the same scars, visible and invisible. You write to your family, tell them you are home, coming home. They write back immediately. Joy, relief, cannot wait to see you. Your mother is planning a celebration. Your father wants to take you to the pub. Your sister is bringing her new husband. Everyone wants things to return to normal. You know they cannot. You know normal is gone forever. But you do not tell them this. Let them have their hope, their joy. You will deal with reality when you get there. The train home, familiar countryside, places you recognize, towns you passed through before the war. Everything looks the same. Nothing has changed. Except you. You have changed. Fundamentally, irreversibly. The person who left for war no longer exists. The person returning is someone else. Someone damaged. Someone who has seen things and done things and suffered things that cannot be unseen or undone or unremembered. Your station. You get off the train. Your family is there, waiting. They see you, run toward you. Your mother cries, hugs you. You are so thin, so pale. What did they do to you? Your father shakes your hand, pulls you into an embrace, tries not to cry, fails. Your sister hugs you too, introduces her husband. You shake his hand. He is young, healthy. He did not fight. Reserved occupation. You feel nothing about this. No resentment, no anger, just emptiness. Home, your childhood home. Nothing has changed. Same furniture, same wallpaper, same smells. But it all feels wrong. Too small, too comfortable, too safe. You do not belong here anymore. This place is for the person you used to be, not for who you are now. They have prepared a feast. Your mother cooked all your favorites. The table is full. More food than you can possibly eat. Everyone is talking, asking questions. About the war, about the camp, about your experiences. You do not want to talk about it. Cannot talk about it. How do you explain to people who were safe here what it was like there? You cannot. So you tell them you are tired, need to rest. They understand. Or they pretend to. You go to your old room, lie on your old bed, and you cry, quietly, so they cannot hear. Cry for everything you lost, everything you will never get back. The days pass, weeks, months. Your body heals slowly. You gain weight. The hollow look fades. Your face fills out. Hair grows back. Physically, you start to resemble your old self. But mentally, psychologically, you are broken. Nightmares every night. Panic attacks. Depression. What we now call PTSD. Then, there was no name for it. No treatment. You were just expected to get over it. Move on. Return to normal. You cannot work. Cannot concentrate. Cannot engage with normal life. Everything seems trivial. Pointless. People complain about small things and you want to scream. You have no water? I spent 3 years drinking contaminated water. Your food is cold? I ate rancid soup and rotting turnips. Your job is stressful? I dug coal in a mine while starving to death. You keep these thoughts inside, but they eat at you, create distance between you and everyone who did not experience what you experienced. Some returned prisoners adapt, find ways to integrate their experience, build new lives. You try, you really try, but it is hard, so hard. The camp is always with you, in your thoughts, your dreams, your reactions. Loud noises make you jump. Crowds make you anxious. Being locked in small spaces triggers panic. You are damaged. Permanently. This is your new normal. Years pass. The memories do not fade. The nightmares do not stop. You learn to function despite them. Learn to fake normalcy. Wear a mask of okay when inside you are still in that camp. Still waiting. Still suffering. Part of you never left. Part of you will always be there. A 23-year-old prisoner. Starving. Freezing. Waiting for a liberation that has already happened but somehow does not feel real. This is the true cost of the camp. Not just the 3 years you lost, but the rest of your life. All of it shadowed by those 3 years. All of it less than it could have been. You survived. But survival came at a price. And you are still paying it. Will always be paying it. Until the day you die. Chapter 23. The Black Market and Bartering System. You need a needle. Desperately. Your jacket has a tear that is getting bigger every day. Without a needle and thread, the jacket will fall apart completely. Winter is coming. You need that jacket. But needles do not exist in the official camp supply. They are not issued. Not available. Not part of your rations or equipment. So you need to find one another way. Welcome to the black market. Every prison camp has an underground economy. An informal system of trade and barter that operates in the shadows. The currency is not money. Money is worthless here. The guards will not accept it. There is nothing to buy with it. The real currency is goods. Tangible items. Food. Cigarettes. Clothing. Tools. Information. Favors. Anything that has value becomes tradable. Cigarettes are the gold standard. A single cigarette from a Red Cross parcel is worth more than you might think. You can trade 1 cigarette for an extra piece of bread, 2 cigarettes for a pair of socks, 5 cigarettes for a working needle and thread. 10 cigarettes might get you a full meal from the kitchen staff. 20 cigarettes could buy you a day off from work detail. The exchange rates fluctuate. Supply and demand. Basic economics operating in the most brutal marketplace imaginable. But here is the problem. You do not have cigarettes. You do not smoke. Never did. When you received your last Red Cross parcel 3 months ago, you traded your cigarettes immediately for food. Seemed like a good decision at the time. You were starving. The cigarettes could buy bread. Now you regret it, because now you need that needle and you have nothing to trade. So you look at what you do have. Your spare shirt, threadbare, full of holes, but still a shirt. Someone might want it. Your tin cup, dented, but functional. Someone who lost theirs might trade for it. Your bootlaces. You need bootlaces, but you could tie your boots with string maybe. Scraps of fabric. Every possession becomes a potential trade good. You calculate, weigh options. What can you afford to lose? What do you absolutely need to keep? You approach the scrounger. Every barracks has one. The man who knows everyone, knows everything, can acquire anything for the right price. He is sitting on his bunk, counting something, probably his inventory, his wealth measured in cigarettes and bread and bits of string. You tell him what you need. A needle, maybe some thread if possible. He looks at you, assesses you. What do you have to trade? You offer your spare shirt. He examines it, holds it up, sees the holes, the stains, the general poor condition. He shakes his head. Not worth a needle, maybe worth a button, or some string, but not a needle. Needles are valuable, rare. You offer your tin cup. He has 3 cups already, does not need another. You are running out of options. You mention your bootlaces. He considers this. Bootlaces are useful, but still not worth a full needle. Maybe a broken needle, one that is bent, one that barely works. You take it, the broken needle. Trade your bootlaces for it. Tie your boots with strips torn from your already deteriorating trousers. The needle is bent. The eye is almost closed. Threading it will be nearly impossible. But it is something. You can try to straighten it. Try to make it work. You return to your bunk. Spend an hour carefully bending the needle back. Bit by bit. Too much pressure and it will snap. Too little and it stays bent. Finally you get it mostly straight. Mostly functional. You thread it with a strand pulled from your blanket. Begin sewing the tear in your jacket. Tiny stitches. Careful work. The jacket is saved. For now, the black market operates everywhere. In the barracks, in the yard during free time, on work details when guards are not watching, whispered conversations, quick exchanges, a piece of bread passed palm to palm, cigarettes hidden in sleeves. Everyone participates, even men who claim they do not, because the official rations are not enough. The official supplies are inadequate. The black market fills the gaps, provides necessities that the Germans do not provide. Some men become professional traders. They accumulate goods, build inventories, operate like businesses. These men rarely go hungry. They always have cigarettes even if they do not smoke. They have extra clothing, better boots, favors owed to them by guards and prisoners alike. They are the wealthy class of the camp. Their bunks are sought after. Protection, access, resources. Align yourself with a successful trader and your life improves. Marginally, but every margin counts. But the black market has a dark side. Exploitation. Men desperate for food will trade anything. Everything. Their blanket in winter for a piece of bread. Their boots for a cigarette. Their dignity for a meal. The traders know this. They take advantage. Offer unfair exchanges. Prey on desperation. You watch it happen. Cannot stop it. Market forces. Supply and demand. When demand is survival and supply is controlled by a few, those few have all the power. Theft feeds the black market. Items stolen from the German stores, from the kitchen, from other prisoners. These stolen goods flow into the economy, get traded, redistributed. Everyone knows where they came from. No one asks questions. The origin does not matter. Only the utility. A stolen potato is still a potato. A stolen blanket still provides warmth. The morality becomes flexible when you are starving. Guards participate too. Unofficially. They want cigarettes, chocolate, items from Red Cross parcels. They offer things in return. Better work assignments, extra rations, protection from other guards. These transactions are dangerous. If caught, both parties face punishment. But the risk is worth it. For both sides, the guard gets luxury items he cannot obtain otherwise. The prisoner gets survival advantages. Everyone benefits, except the men who have nothing to trade. They just keep suffering. You learn the art of negotiation, how to haggle, how to assess value, how to read people. Is this trader desperate? Can you push for a better deal? Or is he firm? Will walking away cost you the only chance to get what you need? These calculations become second nature. Every interaction is a negotiation. Every exchange a test of will and wit. The economy responds to events. When Red Cross parcels arrive, the market floods with goods. Prices drop. Cigarettes become cheap. Food becomes available. Everyone eats slightly better for a week. Then the parcels run out. Scarcity returns. Prices spike. The same piece of bread that cost 1 cigarette last week now costs 3. You adapt. Learn to buy low and sell high. Even in hell, capitalism finds a way. Some items have fixed values. Universal exchange rates. 1 cigarette equals 2 pieces of bread. 5 cigarettes equal 1 pair of socks. These standards emerge naturally, through countless transactions. Trial and error. Collective agreement. The market self-regulates. Mostly. Sometimes disputes arise. Someone claims they were cheated. Paid 3 cigarettes for goods worth 2. Arguments. Sometimes fights. The strongest enforce their own version of justice. Might makes right when there is no other authority. You become part of this system. Cannot avoid it. To survive, you must participate. Trade your labor for food. Your possessions for necessities. Your dignity for temporary comfort. This is the reality. This is how you make it through each day, through each week, through years of captivity. The black market is not ideal. It is not fair. It is not just. But it works. It provides what the official system does not. And in the end, that is all that matters. Survival by any means necessary. Chapter 24. Escape attempts and their consequences. The fence is always there. 20 feet away, maybe less. 3 layers of wire, the outer layer electrified, but not insurmountable, not impossible. Men think about it constantly. Escape, freedom, home. The thoughts are seductive, dangerous. Most resist the temptation, know the odds, know the consequences. But some do not resist. Some try. You hear about the first escape attempt in your second month. 3 men, British, from Barracks 9. They tunneled, spent weeks digging, hiding the dirt in their clothing, scattering it during work details. The tunnel started under a bunk, went down 6 feet, then horizontal, toward the fence, under the wire, beyond. They worked at night, quietly. Others in the barracks knew, said nothing. Hope by proxy. If they succeed, maybe others can too. They made it almost to the fence. Almost. Then a collapse. The tunnel caved in, buried 1 man. The others tried to dig him out. Made noise. Guards heard. Came running. Discovered the tunnel. Pulled out the buried man. He was dead. Suffocated. The other 2 were dragged away. You did not see what happened next, but you heard the screams from the punishment block. For days, when they finally emerged, they could barely walk. Broken ribs, broken fingers, faces destroyed. A warning to everyone else. The dead man was buried without ceremony. Another body in the ground. The tunnel was filled in. Guards increased their inspections. Random checks of bunks, floors, looking for signs of digging. The camp tensed. Everyone watched, waiting to see if the Germans would impose collective punishment. They did. Rations cut by 20% for a month. For everyone, because 3 men tried to escape. You went from starving to starving worse. Hated those 3 men. Hated yourself for hating them. They only wanted freedom. Can you blame them for that? But escape attempts continue. Men are desperate. Hope is stronger than fear sometimes. You hear about a man who tried to walk out during a work detail. Just walked away. Into the woods. The guards noticed within minutes. Released the dogs. German shepherds. Trained to hunt. To kill. They found him within an hour. Brought him back. Or brought back what was left of him. The dogs had done their job. He died that night. Infection from the bites. No medical treatment. Just suffering. Then death. Another attempt. More sophisticated. 2 men acquired guard uniforms. How? No one knows. Do not ask. They studied the guards. Learned the routines. The patterns. Waited for a shift change. Chaos. Confusion. Walked toward the gate dressed as guards. Almost made it. One of the real guards noticed something wrong. The wrong insignia. The wrong walk. Something. He challenged them. They ran. He shot. 1 died instantly. The other made it to the fence. Climbed. The electricity killed him. Hung there for a day. Another warning. Another lesson. Do not try to escape. The punishment cells fill with would-be escapees. Men who tried and failed. They stay there for weeks. Months. Come out broken. Physically and mentally. You see them afterward. Hollow eyes. Shuffling steps. They do not talk about what happened in the cells. Do not need to. Their bodies tell the story. Scars. Missing teeth. Fingers that do not work right anymore. This is what happens when you try to escape. This is the price of attempted freedom. Yet men keep trying. Desperation overrides logic. Overrides fear. You understand the impulse. You think about it too. Late at night. When you cannot sleep. When the hopelessness feels crushing. You imagine walking out. Making it home. Seeing your family. The fantasy is vivid. Detailed. But you never act on it. Never take that step from imagination to action. Because you are afraid. And being afraid keeps you alive. Some escapes succeed. Rarely. Very rarely. You hear rumors. A man who made it to the border. Another who found a sympathetic German civilian. These stories spread. Become legend. Probably exaggerated. Probably false. But they provide hope. Proof that escape is possible. That defense is not absolute. That freedom might be achievable. even if the odds are tiny, even if most attempts end in death or punishment. The guards are paranoid about escapes. Understandably, every escape is a failure on their part, a mark against their record. They patrol constantly, watch constantly, count constantly, roll call twice daily, sometimes 3 times if they suspect something. They search barracks randomly, turn over bunks, inspect floors, walls, ceilings, looking for tunnels, hidden tools, forged papers, anything that might facilitate an escape. Guard dogs patrol the perimeter, day and night. You hear them, barking, growling, panting. Large dogs, aggressive dogs. They are not pets. They are weapons, trained to attack on command, to chase, to bring down running men. You give them a wide berth, even during authorized activities, even when you are doing nothing wrong. The dogs do not distinguish. They just obey. Informants exist among the prisoners. Men who report escape plans to the guards in exchange for favors. Better food, easier work, protection. These informants are despised, hated more than the guards, because they are traitors, prisoners turning on prisoners. You learn to be careful what you say, who you trust. Walls have ears, and some prisoners have mouths that talk to the wrong people. An execution happens in your 6th month. A man attempted escape and attacked a guard in the process. Knocked him unconscious, took his rifle, did not use it, just ran. But attacking a guard is unforgivable. They caught him. Tribunal, quick trial, guilty, death sentence. They made the entire camp watch, formed everyone up, made you stand there, see it. The man tied to a post, blindfolded, firing squad. The shots echo. The body slumps. Blood soaks into the earth. You watch, cannot look away, cannot close your eyes. This is what happens. This is the ultimate consequence. Escape means death, one way or another. After that execution, escape attempts decrease. Fear works. Terror is an effective deterrent. But it does not stop completely, because some men reach a point where death is preferable to continued captivity, where the risk of dying trying to escape is better than the certainty of dying slowly in the camp. These men try, and these men usually die, but they die attempting freedom. That counts for something. Maybe you will not try to escape. You have decided. The risk is too high. The chance is too low. You will wait, endure, survive through captivity rather than die attempting freedom. This is your choice, your calculation. Others judge differently, choose differently. You do not condemn them. Do not praise them. Just watch. Bear witness. Remember their names. Remember their attempts. Remember that in the darkest places, the human desire for freedom remains. Undeniable, unquenchable, worth dying for, even if you yourself are not willing to take that risk. Chapter 25. Holidays and the Mockery of Celebration. Christmas 1917. Your second Christmas in captivity. Or is it your third? You have lost track. The date matters less than you thought it would. Time has become meaningless. But the guards announce it. Christmas. As if you might have forgotten. As if the date holds the same significance here as it does in the outside world. There is no Christmas cheer in the camp. No decorations. No tree. No lights. Nothing that would indicate celebration. Just another day. Cold. Gray. Hungry. The same as every day. But somehow worse because you remember what Christmas used to mean. Family. Warmth. Food. Presents. Church services. Joy. All of it impossibly distant. Might as well be describing life on another planet. The Germans make a gesture. Small. Meaningless. They give each prisoner an extra piece of bread. Not a large piece. Maybe 2 ounces more than usual. This is their Christmas gift. Bread. You eat it immediately, not saving it, not savoring it, just consuming it because it is food and you are always hungry. The bread does not taste like Christmas. Tastes like sawdust and desperation. Same as always. Some prisoners try to observe the holiday. The religious ones. They organize a service. Informal, unsanctioned, just men gathering in a corner of the barracks, singing carols, quietly, so the guards do not object. You listen from your bunk. The voices are weak, thin. Undernourished lungs cannot produce strong sound. But the words are there. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. The irony is crushing. Nothing is calm, nothing is bright. This is darkness, this is chaos. But they sing anyway. A chaplain speaks. He is a prisoner too, captured while serving as a military chaplain. He talks about hope, about faith, about God's plan, about how suffering has meaning, purpose. You want to believe him, want to find comfort in his words, but you cannot. What possible purpose does this suffering serve? What lesson are you supposed to learn from watching men die of starvation and disease? The chaplain means well. You know he does. But his words ring hollow. Empty comfort for empty stomachs. Christmas makes you think about home, more than usual. What is your family doing right now? Are they celebrating? Trying to celebrate despite your absence? Or are they too worried? Too sad? Your mother probably cried this morning. She cries every Christmas you are not there. You know this somehow. Can picture it. Her sitting at the table. Your empty chair. Your father trying to be strong. Your sister trying to cheer everyone up. The effort falling flat. Christmas ruined by your absence. By the war. By everything. You wonder what they are eating. Turkey probably. Or goose. Potatoes. Gravy. Vegetables. Pie. All the traditional foods. More food than they can finish. While you sit here with your extra 2 ounces of sawdust bread. The contrast is obscene. Makes you angry. Not at them. At the situation. At the war. At the randomness that put you here and them there. Some prisoners receive Christmas packages. From home. From charity organizations. The Red Cross. These packages contain special items. Christmas pudding. Chocolate. Cigarettes. Warm socks. Small luxuries that transform Christmas from just another day into something slightly better. You do not receive a package. Either your family could not send one or it got lost. Or stolen. Or confiscated. Does not matter. The result is the same. No package. No Christmas. The men who do receive packages share. Sometimes. If they are generous. If they remember what kindness means. You receive a piece of chocolate from Patterson. He got a package. He shares. You are grateful. The chocolate is sweet. Real. Melts on your tongue. For 30 seconds you taste Christmas. Then it is gone. Back to reality. Back to hunger. Evening comes. Christmas evening. You lie on your bunk. Stare at the ceiling. Think about Christmases past. When you were young. When the world made sense. When Christmas was magical. Those memories feel like they belong to someone else. Some other person who lived some other life. Not you. You are here. You have always been here. That other life was a dream. New Year follows Christmas. The turning of years. 1917 becomes 1918. This transition is meaningless. Arbitrary. But humans need markers. Need to measure time. Need to believe that this year will be better than the last. It will not be. 1918 will be the same as 1917. The same suffering. The same death. The same waiting. But you pretend. Everyone pretends. Happy New Year. The words taste like lies. Easter comes in spring. April 1918. Resurrection. New life. The tomb is empty. Christ has risen. The chaplain gives another service. More singing. More prayer. More hope that feels increasingly groundless. You attend this time, not because you believe, but because it breaks the monotony, gives you something different to do, something to mark the passage of time. There are no Easter eggs, no chocolate bunnies, no special meal, just the same food, the same routine. Easter is acknowledged and ignored simultaneously. The date exists, the meaning does not. You cannot celebrate resurrection when you are barely alive. Cannot celebrate new life when death surrounds you constantly. The holiday passes, unremarked, unmourned. Birthdays happen too. Yours, others. You turned 24 in June. Or maybe you turned 24 last month. You are not certain. The exact date has slipped away. Someone mentions it is probably your birthday week. Close enough. You mark it by doing nothing different. Same work. Same food. Same everything. Being 24 feels the same as being 23. Just older. More damaged. Further from the person you were. Other men celebrate birthdays. Their barracks mates try to make it special. Singing. Sharing rations. Creating a makeshift card from scraps of paper. These gestures are touching. Sad. Beautiful in their sadness. Proof that humanity persists even here. That people still care enough to mark the passage of another year. Even when that passage brings them no closer to freedom. No closer to home. Just 1 year closer to death. Armistice Day will come. November 11th, 1918. But you do not know this yet. You are still waiting. Still suffering through 1918. Still marking meaningless holidays. Still pretending that dates matter. That time is moving forward. That eventually this will end. The holidays help maintain this pretense. Give structure to formless time. Markers in an endless gray expanse. Without them, you might lose track completely. Lose yourself in the eternal now of captivity. The holidays hurt. Remind you what you have lost. What you might never regain. But they also help. Keep you tethered. Keep you human. Keep you hoping. Even when hope feels like the cruelest torture of all. Chapter 26. The loss of identity and dehumanization. You do not recognize yourself anymore. Physically or psychologically, the person you were before capture is gone. Completely. Replaced by something else. Something less. You catch your reflection in a window. Puddle. A piece of polished metal. See a stranger. Gaunt face. Sunken eyes. Bald head. Skeletal frame. This cannot be you. But it is. This is what you have become. What the camp has made you. Your name feels foreign. When someone uses it, there is a delay. A moment of confusion. Who are they talking to? Then you remember. That is your name. You are that person. Or you were. Now you are a number. Prisoner 4152. That number is more real than your name. More immediate. More relevant to your daily existence. Guards use numbers. Never names. You respond to 4152 faster than you respond to your actual name. This bothers you. Should bother you more than it does. But you are too tired to care. Personal identity requires memory, continuity, a sense of self that persists through time. But your memories are fading. Not the traumatic ones. Those remain. Vivid. Intrusive. But the good memories. The normal ones. What did your bedroom look like? You cannot quite remember. What color were the walls? What furniture did you have? The details slip away, replaced by endless repetitive days of captivity. When all days are identical, they blur together, become one long terrible day stretching into infinity. You used to have interests, hobbies, things you cared about. What were they? You cannot remember. Did you play an instrument? Enjoy sports? Read certain books? These parts of your identity have been stripped away. Survival leaves no room for hobbies. No energy for interests. Your entire existence has narrowed to basic functions. Eat, sleep, work, avoid punishment, repeat. Everything else is luxury, unnecessary, forgotten. Your personality has flattened. You used to be funny maybe, or serious, or optimistic, something. Now you are nothing. Neutral, empty. The emotional range required for personality needs calories, needs security, needs a future to look forward to. You have none of these, so your personality withers, dies, leaves behind a hollow shell that goes through motions without truly existing. Human dignity requires agency, choice, the ability to make decisions about your own life. You have none. Every aspect of your existence is controlled. When you wake, what you eat, where you work, when you sleep, you cannot choose anything, not even small things, not what clothes to wear, not what side of the bunk to sleep on, not whether to scratch an itch during roll call. Everything is regulated, commanded, enforced. You are not a person making choices. You are an object being moved through a system. The Germans do not see you as human. This is clear, obvious, undeniable. To them, you are a problem, a burden, a mouth to feed with limited resources. They would prefer you did not exist. Since you do exist, they minimize the cost. Minimal food, minimal shelter, minimal care. You are livestock, less than livestock. Livestock has economic value. You have none. You are just waste, consuming resources until the war ends or you die, whichever comes first. Some guards are worse than others. The ones who enjoy the power, who relish the opportunity to dominate, to humiliate. They invent new degradations, make you stand in stress positions for hours, make you crawl, make you bark like a dog, perform for their amusement. Refusing means punishment, so you comply, debase yourself, sacrifice the last shreds of dignity to avoid the punishment cells. Hate yourself for complying, hate them for making you. The self-hatred becomes another layer of suffering. You start to see yourself through their eyes. This is the worst part, the internalization. You begin to believe you are less than human. Look at you, filthy, diseased, weak, pathetic. Maybe you deserve this treatment. Maybe you are as worthless as they say. These thoughts creep in, insidious, poisonous. You fight them, try to remember your worth, your humanity, but the fight gets harder each day, each degradation, each moment of powerlessness. The collective identity replaces individual identity. You stop being yourself, start being one of the prisoners, indistinguishable from the others. Same clothes, same haircut, same routine, same suffering. Your unique qualities disappear, erased by uniformity, by dehumanization. You are 4152. You are British prisoner. You are POW. These labels subsume your name, your history, yourself. Language deteriorates. You speak less, have less to say. Conversations become shorter, simpler. Functional communication only. Where is the latrine? Do you have water? What is for dinner? Beyond basic necessities, words feel pointless. What is there to discuss? The weather? Your feelings? Philosophy? These topics belong to humans with futures, with lives. You have neither, so you stop talking, fall into silence. The silence is easier anyway, requires less energy. Some men resist dehumanization, fight to maintain their identity, their dignity. They are admirable, inspirational. You watch them, envy them, cannot emulate them. You lack the strength, the willpower. You have surrendered, accepted your degradation, become what the camp wants you to be, an empty vessel, a number, a thing. This acceptance is survival strategy. Resistance costs energy you do not have. So you comply, internalize, disappear into yourself. There are moments of recognition, brief moments, when you remember who you were. A memory surfaces, unexpected, vivid. You are 16, playing football with friends, laughing, whole, human. The memory is painful, a reminder of loss, of what has been taken, but also precious. Proof that you existed before this, that you were once a complete person. These moments become lifelines, anchors to a self that is slipping away. You wonder if you will ever get it back. Your identity, yourself. After the war, if you survive, if you go home, can you reassemble the pieces? Become whole again? Or is this damage permanent? Has the camp destroyed something essential? Something irreplaceable? You do not know, cannot know, can only hope that somewhere inside this hollow shell, the person you were still exists, dormant, waiting, ready to emerge when the nightmare finally ends. If it ends, if you survive, if the ifs multiply, the answers remain unknown. You exist in uncertainty, in limbo, in the terrible space between human and object, trying to remember what being human felt like, failing, trying again, failing, until failure becomes normal. expected, part of who you are now. Conclusion. So, how has your day been? Difficult? Stressful? Long? Bad commute? Annoying coworker? Not enough sleep? I hear you. Modern life has its challenges. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you worried about starving to death? When did you last sleep on wooden planks in sub-zero temperatures wearing rags? When did you share a toilet with 200 diseased men? When did you dig coal while your body consumed itself from malnutrition? You did not. You have never experienced anything close to what we just discussed. And thank whatever higher power you believe in for that. Because life in a World War I prisoner of war camp was brutal beyond anything most modern people can comprehend. It was slow death, drawn out over years. It was watching yourself and everyone around you deteriorate. Physically, mentally, spiritually. The numbers tell part of the story. Approximately 8 million men were taken prisoner during World War I. Across all countries, all sides. Of those 8 million, roughly 500,000 died in captivity. That is a 6% mortality rate. 6%. Think about that. If you were captured, you had a 1 in 17 chance of dying before the war ended. Those are terrible odds. And those are just the deaths. They do not account for permanent injuries, disabilities, psychological damage that lasted lifetimes. The conditions we discussed were standard, not exceptional. Not uniquely bad. This was normal, expected. The Geneva Convention existed but was largely ignored. Countries treating prisoners well when they were barely feeding their own populations? Not a priority. Prisoners were the lowest priority. Less than soldiers. Less than civilians. Less than animals. They were problems to be warehoused until the war ended. But here is the wildest part. The thing that keeps me up at night when I think about this. These men survived. Many of them. They endured 3 or 4 years of conditions designed to break human beings. They survived disease and starvation and cold and violence and despair. And then they came home. And they were expected to just return to normal life. Pick up where they left off. As if nothing had happened. There was no therapy. No PTSD diagnosis. No support services. You came home. You got a medical examination, some back pay, and that was it. Good luck. Welcome home. Get a job. Start a family. Rebuild your life. With no acknowledgement of what you had been through. No understanding of the damage. Just an expectation that you would be fine. That you would get over it. Most did not get over it. How could they? You cannot unsee what they saw. Cannot unfeel what they felt. Cannot forget 3 years of daily horror. The nightmares do not just stop because the war ended. The trauma does not heal because you are home. These men carried their experiences for the rest of their lives. Damaged, haunted, changed in fundamental ways that made normal life almost impossible. And yet, despite everything, they survived. That is worth acknowledging. Not glorifying, not romanticizing, but acknowledging. They survived because they had to, because giving up meant dying, because some stubborn part of the human spirit refuses to quit even when quitting seems like the only reasonable option. So tonight, when you climb into your comfortable bed, in your heated home, after eating adequate food, maybe take a moment to appreciate what you have, not in a guilt way, not beating yourself up for complaining about your problems. Your problems are valid. Your struggles are real. But perspective matters. And the perspective of what previous generations endured makes our current hardships seem more manageable. Turn off your phone for a moment. Feel your soft mattress, your clean sheets, your warm blanket. Listen to the silence, or the ordinary sounds of modern life. Traffic, maybe a neighbor's television. Normal sounds, safe sounds. You are not in danger, not starving, not imprisoned. Not forgotten. You are free. You are safe. You are fed. These basic things that we take for granted were impossible luxuries for millions of men 100 years ago. So maybe, just maybe, say a quiet thank you to the universe, to history, to the sacrifices of those who came before, and then go to sleep. Have dreams, maybe some bad ones, but wake up tomorrow in freedom, in comfort, in a world where prisoner of war camps like the ones we discussed no longer exist. At least not in that form. Not with those conditions. Progress is real, even if it is slow, even if it is incomplete. Thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing with me through this long and difficult history. I know it was not easy. It was not supposed to be easy. Some stories need to be told even when they hurt, especially when they hurt, because forgetting is worse than remembering. And these men, these prisoners, they deserve to be remembered, not as statistics, not as numbers, but as human beings who suffered and survived and carried that suffering for the rest of their lives. Sleep well tonight. You have earned it just by being here, by learning, by caring enough to listen to a 3-hour discussion of human suffering from a century ago. That matters. You matter. And the men we talked about tonight, they mattered too. Remember that. Remember them. And maybe, in remembering, we honor them. We acknowledge their sacrifice. We ensure they are not forgotten. Good night.